Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, y'all know what time it is. It's time to get locked into the living split screen E3 after shows, man. I mean, we're just here to discuss everything that has happened since E3 has begun, starting from June 10th, from which I believe that's when we went live originally. And we actually, no, it was the 12th. So that was correct. So I need to actually change that number on the screen. But everything from the 12th to the 14th, and well, including the day, well, which is the 14th. Sorry, excuse me. And how we feel about everything, man. We've seen a lot of crazy things, a lot of wonderful things, some not so wonderful things. So far, it seems like there's one strong proponent with a couple of them in second and third place, I feel like, and everybody else has fell to the wayside. Unfortunately, other shows have been kind of weak, and we've yet to hear from Nintendo. Of course, PlayStation isn't part of E3 because they do not feel it is important to be here for whatever reason that may be. Nobody knows the true standing. We do have some rumors behind the scenes. Again, checking this past Saturday's episode, well, we talked about that for a little bit. But most off, we're just going to talk about everything that's happened so far within E3. We went live Sunday, which was yesterday, for about 8 hours with the Xbox Ultimate team, covering everything that happened today. It was a very eventful day. Well, I'm not gonna say apparently. The shows went back to back, pretty much. Whether it was the Xbox show, down to the Square Enix, to the Warner Brothers, to PC Gamer show, to the Future Game show. So that's mostly what we're going to be talking about today, how we felt about those things, what pulled our attention, and we're going to try not to talk about exactly everything because some things are not really worth talking about, at least for us. Again, us being organic, authentic, and everything else. We're going to talk about the things that we cared about and also maybe bring some other things that we might think that y'all might be interested in. So with that being said, I'm your host, well, one of your hosts, actually, Steel Rain, and I'm here with the brother from another, your other host, the man with the plan, the man who puts the soul in Pong. Pong Soul, what's going on, man?
My brother, Steel Rain, trying to give yourself a promotion tonight. I can tell already. You're just going to take over this show. Yeah, you're just going to take over the show. You're the host.
It's an evenly balanced.
I'm a guest here. So that's where I'm at.
Your host,
look, man,
and my other host.
look, E3 has definitely had the hype factor. Like Steel, you were just talking about. Very few shows have lived up to that hype in any way, shape, or form. Again, I've been full-fledged in this E3 stuff. Not only that 8.5 hours. Which was fantastic. But then obviously 3 shows on Saturday, did a 5.5 hour preview show with NLG on Thursday, did a 5.5 hour show with Xbox Ultimate. So due to technical difficulties, of course, I can't claim that's all we did, but you know what I'm saying? This has been really fun. Actually, crazy amount of good stuff showing. Now, again, there's been some letdowns. We'll talk about that a little bit as we go along here, but overall, especially with what we saw yesterday, I gotta say E3 is giving us a good taste of what we got coming down the road. So I'm excited to talk about it, man. I'm glad we could get this together and do this despite our busy schedules. So where are we going first, Steel? What are we going to look at, man? What are we going to do?
Well, first off, I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in right now. You guys didn't have to be here.
Absolutely.
We did the spur of the moment. Again, like we said on Saturday, we wanted to try to go live after all the E3 events. We were going to go live last night, but after the marathon, I just couldn't handle any more podcasts. So we definitely cut that short, and that's kind of us making it up for today, and kind of talking about everything that's going on with Nintendo. Again, we can't go live. Depending on what me and Paul will do, we'll probably let you guys know by the end of the show how we feeling. I'm expecting for Nintendo to just do Nintendo things. Maybe re-release some games that have already been out for a while. Maybe talk about a Switch Pro or whatever the case, Plus Pro, whatever it's called, and other than that, not much else. So I guess depending on what you want to do, Pong, I guess we'll decide at the end of the show whether you want to talk about that afterwards. But this right here, again, is going to be our breakdown, the living split screen breakdown of E3 and everything that we've seen thus far that's pulled our attention. So Pong, man, we're going to start. I kind of want to go day by day. Saturday, we talked a little bit about what happened on Saturday, but I think we weren't able to get into the Ubisoft show and everything else, and then the Gearbox, and then I didn't watch the Games Beat thing. So, but here is the list of everything that happened that day. Hopefully that's coming in smooth and great to y'all. But this is basically how we're going to go down it, and we'll just basically bounce off of each other, whatever the case might be, and see how we feel. With that being said, all right, so Saturday, June 12th, right after the Living Split Screen morning show. Hopefully that you guys didn't miss. We started off with the Ubisoft Forward show, man. Now, I'm going to stage this question to you first, and then I'll back end off of you since I've been talking here for a little bit. For the Ubisoft Forward show, did you get a chance to actually watch the show?
Bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
So I watched the main first part of it, and then of course I had to get stuff done, shopping and stuff.
Okay.
So I caught probably over half of it, and then went back and watched the rest later.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
that's where I was
that's
at.
fine.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you didn't miss anything. The biggest thing that I'll say on that, I'm not gonna say you didn't miss anything. The biggest thing about the Ubisoft show, is other than the Xbox show, it was a very well, out of Ubisoft and Xbox, they were the two best paced shows. I definitely put Ubisoft second as far as like pacing goes, as far as the show.
Yep.
They did excellent as far as that. Also showing a lot of variety, whatever the case might be. No, the show wasn't for everybody. Like I said on the Dragon's Den, when I went live with them, when we were talking about the Ubisoft Forward, definitely check out 108 Dragon and everything that he got going on over there. 108 Dragon.
Shout out to Lemon. Let's go.
Let's go.
Facts.
Yeah, big facts. But the show was paced excellently. So that's why I was asking whether you had watched it or not. So with that being said, from the Ubisoft Forward show, what pulled your attention, if there was anything?
There wasn't a whole lot. Now, what I will say is that Rainbow Six Extraction definitely grabbed my attention.
Okay.
I am all about those multiplayer co-op type situations where you are going up against, whether it be aliens, zombies, vampires now is coming back. I don't care. If you're going to get me in to multiplayer, you get me in a group of people and we're going to go up against some kind of unknown force with some key objectives that we actually have to get done. I'm all about that.
Right.
So Extraction to me definitely looked interesting, looked entertaining, looked well done. If there's anything we know from the Rainbow Six team, is that they polish their games. And,
Yes.
you know, I just hoping that they've taken what they've learned from Siege, and they are just implementing it and not trying to go too far out of bounds with some, you know, big time new mechanics, which could cause issues at launch and kind of kill the hype for this title. I hope they're just going to stick to what they do and what they do best and just incorporate it into a co-op situation with these aliens that it looks like you're fighting. And just do that part right. And then if they want to look later on at adding a bunch of stuff, fine, so be it. Go do that. But just get the core gameplay correct.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for here. So if it's tight, like Rainbow Six Siege is now, I'm all about it. This could be a lot of fun. I don't know if I guess I haven't looked at it enough or found out enough information if I agree or disagree with the full price on this.
Is it going to be $60, $70?
Yep.
That's what I thought. That's what I remember.
Yeah. So for me, I got to look at it more to see if I think it's worth it. Again, price points to me as a budget gamer matter. But I don't mind if a game is small, if I'm going to have a good time, or if it's if it doesn't, it's something I'm going to spend a ton of time in. I don't have a problem saying it's worth it to me, no matter the size, no matter, how many different modes it may have or how many modes it doesn't have.
Right.
To me, that doesn't matter. It just, if it's a game that says, hey, Pong, you're going to be in here spending, a couple hundred hours with your friends, all about it. I don't care what they charge.
Yeah.
Don't care.
I guess to just the back end off of that, I guess, cause I mean, that's actually would be a good setup for this. What was it called? Extraction, right?
Extraction.
Rainbow Six Extraction. The main problem that I have with Extraction, I liked what I've seen. It's very different. Again, they're coming away from the Rainbow 6, what works for Rainbow. And adding again another layer, not zombies per se in this one, it's aliens. Oh, okay, cool. To me, the fact that it just looks like a Rainbow Six Siege skin, like a skin on top of Rainbow Six Siege, that kind of bothers me a little bit. Again, that's what I do agree, 100% agree with you with the price point. Again, it comes across more like an expansion of anything else. I like what they're doing as far as like, I think it was 3-player co-op or whatever the case, which is cool.
Correct.
I'm still kind of on the fence about this whole 3-player co-op thing. Most of the time people like to get together as a 4-man team. Having the option, I think, is always great, but limiting it to 3, it can be unique, but it can also be kind of in the way in case you wanted to have some other people get in. I do like the whole thing with where they were saying, like, if you take an operative in and that operative gets captured, you can't use that operative again until you go rescue that operative. So they were doing a lot of interesting things, along with going level by level as you get more and more involved in the whatever stage that you're on. It gets more and more difficult, and you have the choice on whether to extract or not.
Yep.
It's kind of like
that. Is awesome.
But,
that is awesome. The risk reward factor.
So that's always
do
dope.
you go deeper or
Right.
do you pull out
Right.
and just take what you got?
So
I love that.
So that's definitely 100% dope. Again, the main thing that bothers me is I feel like it's just a skin on top of Rainbow Six Siege, and I feel like it would have been better as an expansion. Make me pay $30 for it or whatever the case might be. But yeah, give me a $30 expansion, and I feel like it would have talked to people a little bit more, especially since you already have Rainbow Six Siege. So it would have been like, it's kind of like what Call of Duty does with multiplayer and zombies. You have Rainbow Six Siege as your multiplayer, and you would have Extraction as your zombies per se. You know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like that would have been the more attractive way to go about it. So again, I feel like I understand why people weren't so wowed about it, whatever the case might be, but it was okay. You know what I mean? We'll see how it turns out. It could be something interesting. It could be a good co-op experience. Again, like Casket Repairs in here saying you got Left 4 Dead vibes with it. Yeah, essentially I got the same thing. It seems like there's, again, what turns me off of that, and we'll talk about it probably later, a little bit later in the show, is Back 4 Blood. It's kind of like, how do you compete with that? You know what I mean? And Back 4 Blood is doing the whole PvP system with you actually being able to have actual players to go against. You know what I mean? Versus just CPU. No. So I don't know.
Yeah,
but we could talk about
I
that.
get it. I get it. I think this one's gonna be a little bit more tactical per se. I think a little bit more hardcore than what you get from like a Back 4 Blood or Left 4 Dead. You know what I'm saying? So I think I think the other one positive point, I was expecting a very limited amount of characters to choose from. What are they called? Agents, right?
Yeah.
Is it agents in Rainbow Six? Yeah. Agents. Much. Yeah. Or operatives. Thank you. God,
sorry.
Ooh, it's been a long weekend. All right. Yeah, no, that's right. So I was expecting a small amount of operatives to start out, and then they were going to build it out, but they're actually giving you 18 operatives up front. That's a pretty impressive list to start with. And I like it. And they said that they were going to use a lot of the tools and stuff from Rainbow Six Siege, but they were also adding to that arsenal as well. So for me, that made it feel like, hey, maybe they're trying to build this out a little bit more than a normal DLC would be built out.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to wait and see exactly what they come up with when they finally launch this thing.
I agree.
I'll go from there. So I again, I think that was the biggest and brightest star of the Ubisoft Forward.
You were saying that in the backstage.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the one that stood out the most. Again, that's just me. But I definitely think I have to go there first. So
kind of like what Noof Nukem was saying in the chat. R6 Extraction, man, aliens look stupid in R6. I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, it's an interesting concept. I see what they're doing now. Whether it's going to be something that works We'll see. Again, I feel like it would have done better as an expansion to the already existing game. Making it a standalone is kind of makes it more meh, especially if you're charging full price for it. So I know that was your main point. The only other two that I really want to bring up from the Ubisoft showcase that really that kind of pulled my attention a little bit. Riders Republic I thought was interesting. Again, coming from those SS Tricky days, Tony Hawk days, and everything else. Being able to get with a bunch of people and do this outdoorsy stuff or whatever, biking, hang gliding, whatever the case might be. It looks interesting. The thing that impressed me most was as many players, as they had on the screen, and the fidelity seemed to hold up. It still looked like it was a solid game. The attention to detail in some of the events or whatever the case was pretty dope. Is it a game that I'm probably looking to buy? Nah, probably not. Again, if it ever ends up getting the Game Pass, or if it gets on a sale real low, that's probably when I would maybe check it out. But again, you're talking about a game. I believe they were saying that this game is going to release towards the end of the year, and you're talking about a game that's going to be surrounded by heavy hitters, as we'll talk about here in a bit as we move on.
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, no, I was just going to say with Riders Republic, I thought they had the perfect launch window when they initially announced it. It was supposed to be out Q1 of this year, and I thought that was perfect because there wasn't a lot of big games. Next gen systems weren't getting a whole lot of games at that time. I thought that would have slotted in a perfect way. But if the longer they push it towards the fall and holiday, you just got done saying, Steel, and we've seen it now. There's going to be a ton of competition going around, and it's going to probably, unless they come out. I mean, unless it could blow up, it could be one of those games because it's kind of like a battle royale thing, right? They've got modes where there's like crazy.
It's not really a battle royale thing. It's just like, oh, you join this
competition
event.
Though, right?
It's competitive. It looks like
with big groups of people. So it could be something that hits the streaming world kind of big. If some Twitch streamers start getting on it, it could be something. Again, I'm never going to discount anything until I see it, but just taking it at face value, it's probably going to lose its luster, even if it's a good solid game in that time frame when it comes out, because there's so much else going on and people's attention is being grabbed in a million different ways. Right. So I think that might be the problem for that one. I don't know if you're ready to, again, they went through Far Cry 6. I thought it was kind of cool, the DLC. Now that I kind of understand it more, I wasn't on board with it at first when I first heard about it, because I thought it was just kind of like a reskin thing where they talked about Far Cry 6 in the season pass and the DLC that you're going to get to play your favorite villains from previous Far Cries, like Vaz. First, I was like, well, why would I want to do that? And I guess I didn't understand it, but then, it was explained to me. Yeah, we talked about it with the Xbox Ultimate Crew and stuff, and everybody kind of explained it to me. No, you are actually taking on their role, and the protagonist that you were playing is now against you, right?
Yeah,
and causing you issues. Right. Okay.
In a hell kind of scene and everything. Yeah.
Right. You got me a little bit more interested. Okay. Now I can kind of see where they're going with this. So that was kind of cool. Again, Far Cry 6, it's not going to be day one for me. But I always grab the Far Cries at some point, especially when you go on those crazy Ubisoft sales. They always have the crazy ones. And I always want to pick them because, again, they're like junk food for me. They're always good. And I always have fun with them. They're just not day one for me anymore. They haven't been day one since Far Cry 3. That was the last one that I actually bought day one. So that was pretty cool.
I personally wasn't too interested in it. Again, I haven't been interested in Far Cry this entire time. Mainly, again, it's not unless it's a co-op experience. I really haven't had a feeling to jump into it again. Mainly because there's always another game around it that comes out that pulls my attention more harder than that does. Not saying that it's a bad game. Again, the whole concept of the whole villain thing, you taking over the villain, and now the main character that you were playing has become the villain, is cool, because I know a lot of people really hold those villains in the Far Cry series to a high standard, and they're what people remember as far as the series goes. So being able to play as them, I feel like it's a cool concept. But go ahead, my fault.
Oh, no worries. If you got any more to say about Far Cry 6, otherwise I was just going to say Avatar. I kind of called this one on our show as far as what they might show. I called it on NLG's show too. I was kind of shocked to see it in first person. It is by Massive, who is well known
Yeah,
for
I was shocked
Division,
about that.
obviously. Yeah, yeah. Well known for the Division, obviously third person. The
Mhm.
Snowdrop engine though is absolutely gorgeous,
Oh
and
yeah, they've done
the
some
the
magic
videos
in it.
I've watched, Avatar looks fantastic visually. Okay, it
Yeah, it
looks
does.
really, really good.
It does.
I am actually an Avatar fan.
I am.
Yes, I will go. I will go on record and admit that. I know a lot of people don't like to admit that anymore. There's a whole lot of people who've seen that movie more than once, but no longer admit that they like it. I still like it. I still enjoy it. I'm actually looking forward to James Cameron and his new movies coming out, the new ones,
Yeah,
um,
me too.
to extend that universe. So for me, I have to wait and see on this game, however. Again, another first person game. It is Ubisoft, so I imagine they're going to have the formula, the Assassin's Creed Far Cry formula, just skinned as Avatar. I definitely will
I
see
hope not.
what else they've added. I know, but we kind of know that's where they're at. But again, I won't judge it until I know more about exactly how it's going to play. If there's some new play mechanics that they add into it to bring this world alive. Again, not one I'm going to be picking up on day one, but definitely down the road on a Ubisoft sale. I might give it some time because again,
Yeah,
I do enjoy the movies and it does look beautiful. It just wasn't anything that went, oh my God, I gotta go have that, right? It
yeah.
just wasn't like it, it just wasn't a wow thing for Ubisoft. And it's been in development for quite a while, so I guess I was kind of expecting a little bit more. But is what it is. So again, I'll try it out eventually, I'm sure, unless it's absolutely horrible. But
Yeah, Avatar
yeah.
look cool. Again, I am also an Avatar fan. Again, I feel like they've waited way too long to come out with anything to follow up with the story. Again, I do hope that this next movie is going to be great to continue the story forward. It's one of those things to where what they did visually as far as the movie goes is stunning. What they were able to display within the game looks stunning. I was a little put back by it being first person. I was expecting for it to be third person. Again, I don't care which way, but I feel like it would have been a better. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a better game because I don't know what the game looks like, what the game actually is, or whatever the case. But I feel like the game would have been a little more attractive as a third person game. Again, taking your I can't remember what the name of the character their species is called offhand. But taking that species and maybe creating your own custom character within that world, and then really dumping you in there and making it this whole experience in the third person format, I feel like it would have been a better representation for Avatar. Making it first person, I feel like it kind of limits it. But again, I mean, I don't know if they're doing kind of what they did with the movies, where the dude in the wheelchair ended up becoming one of them. I guess you could kind of say, oh, you're looking at it through kind of that lens. So you're looking through the Avatar eyes or whatever the case might be. So that's one way to look at it. Again, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? I just hope it's not another one of those movie turned games that falls flat on its face. Due to what Ubisoft is, pretty much the Ubisoft method that we all know, and kind of you either love it or you hate it. And so
Right.
far, like with this next game, with like Valhalla, which is something else that I was surprised by. It was interesting to me that they're continuing with Assassin's Creed. Again, they usually come out year after year with an Assassin's Creed game, if not every other year with an Assassin's Creed game. It's interesting to me that they're supporting this game further down the road. They said this next DLC isn't going to be their endpoint. They're going to continue to build out the world from there. I thought that was an interesting thing for them to do, considering that that's not what they usually do. So that perspective of it was interesting, but the bad thing about that is Valhalla fell short for me. After 100 plus hours of me playing Valhalla, it lost me. Again, the story was too long for me. It was too drawn out for me. Again, I'm a kind of player where I do everything within the world. I get involved in everything, but it was extremely repetitive to the point where there was no variance in it. I didn't feel like I was contributing to anything. I just felt like I was doing these missions, doing the raids, going back, building a couple houses, and then doing the same thing 15 more times. But that's me. Not to say that I wouldn't go back to it or whatever the case might be, but as it stands right now, I'm probably won't. Just depending on what else is going on. So
yeah, for sure. I think it falls in line with what them saying about they're going to take a break, maybe slow down a little bit on the amount of AAA games they're putting out. Maybe we'll get to a point where they start, skipping a year for Assassin's Creed, and giving it that time to kind of just people to be done with it and kind of relax without another Assassin's Creed climbing on top of them right away. Again, the thing about Valhalla for me, and I do want to get back to it, but the combat was some of the most satisfying I've played
100%,
in Assassin's Creed.
100%.
That to me, like that was the best. But like you said, the rest of it, again, we're at that point where it's just cookie cutter for Ubisoft, and they're just doing the same thing over and over again. And I think even if you dress it up or change it by a little tiny bit as far as missions goes and that kind of stuff, overall you get the same feeling when you're playing that game that you've been here 1,000 times before in other Assassin's Creeds. And they do have to watch that because obviously people are going to grow tired of that. The fatigue is real right now with a lot of people. So I think the slowdown on the production, I hope that's where they're at. And I hope that's what they're saying here. We're just going to, continue to make some DLC for Valhalla, but we're not going to talk about another Assassin's Creed, maybe for another year or even longer to give people a break a little bit before they jump back in. We'll see.
And that's completely understandable. Again, I think the main thing that threw me off as I'm thinking about it now is really the pacing of it. Again, games are so driven by their pacing. It's one thing to have a story, like once you're doing the story beats or whatever the case might be, where it keeps you invested. It's another thing where you can easily get not only get easily sidetracked, but also it's like where it's to a point where it gets too drawn out. Again, that's that Ubisoft method. That's that whole Ubisoft method, and then this whole new Assassin's Creed style that they've done. Again, it is what it is. We'll see where it goes. I just thought it was interesting that they were continuing to build out the world. That's not something that they usually do, so I was like, oh, okay. But all right, so moving forward, man, do we have to move forward into this? I think we should. Gearbox, man.
We can go through it real fast.
Gearbox.
Stuck.
No,
Pitchford.
Look.
Wait. Hold on. I'll start this off real quick, okay? If anybody had any questions as to why Phil, Xbox, Satya, Microsoft said no to acquiring Gearbox, go ahead and watch Gearbox's show and go ahead and tell me that you would want Randy Pitchford on your team. Tell me you would want that man representing your company in any way, shape, or form ever.
Yeah, no.
That is the exact reason. The rumors are out there that they
cringy.
approached Microsoft. Microsoft was interested, but they said, hey, we could talk. We'd definitely be interested in this, but we don't want Randy Pritchard around. And Randy was, of course, like, no, you're not taking my baby unless you take me too. So Microsoft nixed that deal completely and said, yeah, no, we're not interested anymore. Yeah. Go watch this. You will know instantaneously why that was the case.
Yeah, it wasn't a good feel in the beginning of that. Again, just to kind of run backwards a little bit. Chase Jones says if Bayek's story with his child doesn't move you from Assassin's Creed Origins, what will do it for you? I agree with you, Chase Jones. The story in Assassin's Creed Origins was excellent. It had me wanting to search more and more and more. I never got into Odyssey, and then Valhalla. Valhalla for me is just, it pulled me in the beginning, but then again, the repetitiveness of it just turned me off after a while. But anyway, just to talk about Gearbox a little bit, one of the things that interested me about Gearbox and what they did is that, and it was still cringy, and it was still like repetitive in the way they were doing it, because it didn't, like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh man. And when I'm talking about is Homeworld. Now, Homeworld is an expansive RTS, like outer space ship game, whatever the case might be. Something that I played a lot of when I was younger. An amazing game. It was an amazing game from back then at the time. But they showed it 3-4 different times in the same show in like 20-second segments. And I was like, okay, well, I get it. After the fourth time, I get that Homeworld 3 is coming. But now I'm not as interested as I was when you first announced it. Like, so I thought Homeworld was interesting. The biggest, I feel like the biggest thing that we got out of the Gearbox presentation was Godfall coming to PS4. I thought that was hilarious.
Wait, what?
I thought that was hilarious.
That's not possible. That's not possible. We were told by Mr. Pitchford that was not possible because the PS4 does not have the godly SSD that's in the PS5. So therefore, Godfall cannot be on a system without a godly SSD. That was impossible. There was no way.
Well, the game got godly re-rolls for PS4. So apparently from some of the articles that I've seen going around, they've been saying that Godfall didn't do anything on PS5, so they're bringing it to PS4. It's one of those things again. It's just like, and it's messed up with Sony not being here during their whole E3 thing, because it doesn't come across any better saying that the game was built from the ground up for PS5. Again, we know how that narrative goes, but the fact that it was told that it was a PS5 game built for the PS5, whatever the case might be, and now it's coming for the PS4, sure, you can always bring the game backwards or whatever the case might be, or degrade the game or whatever to make it run on older hardware. But at the same time, it just doesn't seem like a good outlook for Godfall so far. It's kind of reminding me of Anthem a little bit, except it's not as good as Anthem was. I will say that. I personally don't think Godfall is a terrible game, but it does not do great with the end game. It's very lacking in customization. It definitely suffers from some of the a lot of the things that an Avengers suffers from. So again, if that gives you some kind of an idea, and I mean, it is what it is. The combat is satisfying in some sections, but again, it is also very repetitive. And it's not. It just wasn't. It didn't live up to the hype, and that's unfortunate. It is what it is. But
I wonder if Gearbox is going to pay Xbox to put it on to Game Pass. What do you think? It'll be the reverse. You need it on Game Pass.
You know how funny that would be. I mean, the game is supposed to come out after 6 months. That's correct, and nothing has been announced for that. The only thing that they announced,
Microsoft and Phil are like, y'all
keep that. That's not us.
Doing okay over here. Don't you worry about that.
Giza Prime says Godfall is terrible. Admit it. I can't admit that it was terrible because I enjoyed the combat of what they brought in. I just feel like it was very lackluster. Again, between the Anthem syndrome and the Avengers syndrome, you can tell that it's lacking depth, and that's not good. Again, to come out almost 6 months, 7 months after the game released, and now say that you're releasing skins in the game, and then also now say you're adding matchmaking. These are things you should have been thinking about from jump. And the fact that you're trying to do it now to try to save the game, it may be slightly too late. Who knows? Again, we'll see. We'll see how it goes forward. With that being said, let's see. That's about it for Gearbox. Other than that, it was pretty cringy. So you feel how you feel about that. So boom. Now we move into the exciting day. Sunday. Let's jump into Xbox and what we loved about everything that Xbox showed on Sunday. Whether we loved anything that Xbox showed. Now, personally. Okay, first, before we move forward, because I feel like we should rate these shows in some capacity.
We're gonna do ratings?
Why not? I want the people to know where we stand. For the Ubisoft Forward show, how do you feel? 1 through 10. Well, you know what? I'll do something different. Let's do something different. Let's do an A through F scale.
Okay, so a grade.
Let's do a grading scale, A through F.
Okay, Ubisoft C+.
Ubisoft C+. Okay, for me personally, I'd give Ubisoft a B-, mainly because of the pace. Mainly because of the pacing and variety. They had a lot of different things to show to different people. Even if you didn't love everything, I at least pulled a few things out that I found some interesting in. So I gave it a B minus, borderline almost C. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna give it a C plus. I'll give it a C plus. A C plus would be satisfactory just because the pacing, they did excellent with the pacing. All right. Boom. So that's our grade. Pong gave it a C minus. Steel gives it a C plus. So Sunday, we roll in the Xbox. Pong.
Are we going to give Gearbox a grade?
No, we're going to skip them. That's an F.
Oh, well, no, I was going to say I give them I was going to say they were like a 20% F for me, but they actually Right, but they actually get a D from me.
Okay.
Simply because of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, because that game does look fun as hell.
Okay.
And I am interested in that, and they did show it at their own show.
Okay.
So that took them from like a 20% up to what would the D be? 60% or so?
So 60, yeah.
Yeah. So that moved them that much because I am really interested in Tiny Tina Wonderland. So,
okay. Excellent.
Right.
I'll give you that. It's still a terrible grade, but I'm gonna give them an F because I don't care. With that being said, all right. So the main event, we all knew Xbox was headlining into this.
So yeah, we're going from the worst in the class to the best in the class.
To the best in show. Best in show. So far, especially. With everything that we were expecting from Xbox, right? Or with how Xbox has been kind of turning the tide, fighting things off and on, them trying to raise the pay scale, to them rolling back the pay scale as far as like charging more for live and everything else. With this one, I feel like they won a lot of hearts. Now, there's a lot of smoke going out there, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion. But I feel like at the same time, you have to be honest about what was shown. So far, I feel like we've been on an honesty scale. I feel like we're about at a 9. So, matter of fact, I feel like we're at a 10. So, the first question that I ask you, Pong, with the Xbox show, are you upset that you didn't see anything that you didn't get your Splinter Cell announcement?
Xbox, did I not get anything? Well, I mean, my one, really kind of gut level, heart level announcement that I wanted, which was Splinter Cell. I didn't get that. But again, I understood that for myself, that was a gut heart level and it wasn't realistic in most cases. But I still thought I had a chance. But otherwise, obviously, Game Pass, Game Pass. Jeez, I just walking Game Pass. Starfield. Yeah, I wanted gameplay, but I said all along on Twitter and other shows that if they weren't going to launch this year, we weren't going to get gameplay. So the minute I saw that it was only a trailer, I knew instantaneously it was 2022. So those two things are the big missing ones. Everything else, I had really covered. I knew they had the potential to have so much content there that, like, even though they didn't show some stuff, they had other stuff there. So it was just like mix and match, right? For me, it was just mix and match. Like, okay, so this wasn't here, but you guys had this here. This was there, but you guys didn't have this there. So for me, no, it was a complete show, and I really wasn't missing anything. And to be real, by the end of the show, I didn't miss any. I didn't have any longing for anything else. Like I didn't go back and say, I wasn't lamenting the fact that we didn't get Starfield gameplay. I was actually okay with it. I wasn't lamenting that we didn't see Splinter Cell. I was just like, yeah, no, whatever. We got plenty here. So for me, it covered all bases. Okay. So I didn't have any issues.
Okay. So I guess the next step would be now, I will go into, how did you feel? What did you like about the Xbox show? And what did you not like about the Xbox show?
A hard one for me. What did I like about the Xbox show? Absolutely loved the pacing. The pacing was the best paced show I think I have ever witnessed. And again, I'm old, My memory goes back only so far. I can only remember clearly so many things at this point because there's a lot that just runs together. I even went back, Steele, and I didn't tell you this, but I went back and watched Sony's 2016 show.
Okay.
Which is considered probably one of the it is the pinnacle of Sony shows for sure, and most people consider it probably the best E3 showing ever, just from the content perspective, because they showed gameplay, and they had they had God of War there, they had Spider-Man there, etc. And I went back and watched that. The pacing was not good. Okay, the pacing was not good. The content was fantastic, but the pacing sucked. They had a lot of, they had the orchestra stuff going. They had all this extra fluff in there that wasn't needed. For pure pacing, the Xbox show on Sunday was one of the best, if not the best paced E3 show I've ever witnessed. That had us, Steele, when we were doing our mashup with Xbox Ultimate, I think almost all of us to a T were like, to a point where we were trying to catch our breath and we were almost waiting for a break. Because it was like we had so much content.
I agree.
The emotions were like, oh my God, look at this, look at it. And we were going for so long that it got to that kind of point, and that's when you're hitting all the notes. So for me, absolutely love the pacing. Like I said, for me, with what I just said, with the mix and match, that they had things they could have shown, they didn't, but they had other things that they did show. For me, the content selection was very close to being spot on. I might have switched up a couple places where they showed things, but overall, the content that they chose to show was spot on. And again, that goes back to the whole thing where we talked about the diversity of games that we got. They really had something for everybody there. And that for me was also another win.
Yeah.
As far as anything that I didn't like.
Well, before we get into anything that you really did, that you might have not liked, I guess what top 3 games from the entire show were highlights for you? Now, you could have had all of them. All of them could have been a highlight. Again, I 100% agree with you. The show was paced excellently. I can't imagine of another show that was paced that way. Again, you had the intro from Todd Howard to game after game after game after game. It was just unrelentless, and like you said, we were searching for breath, trying to catch a break on just in between, especially after getting hit upside the head with all these different games, in-engine reveals, I should say, because I'm not going to completely call them gameplay, because not all of them show gameplay. But if you had to pick 3 out of the Xbox show that really stood out to you, which 3 and why?
Oh boy, 3.
3.
Dude, I can give you 4. I can give you 4.
4. I'll go with 4.
This is half my show. This is half my show too. So I'm going 4. Okay?
We'll go 4. We'll go 4.
I'm
fine.
I'm gonna pull out my title here. Okay, as co-host, I'm gonna do 4. Okay. Stalker 2.
Okay.
Number 1. Stalker 2. Again, my hype level for this, because I played the original Stalker back in the day, which a lot of people probably either never did or don't really recall a whole lot. But since I did, I've been looking forward to Stalker 2.
Right.
I'm well aware of the history of the team behind this game. But the mere fact that they came out and showed what many people consider to be an independent, an indie title or a AA title, and show out like a AAA game with like huge backing, that to me shows the quality and the talent that GC Games has, and where they came from. That team, that studio was shut down at one point in history. Okay, they didn't have any funding. And half the team, they got into an internal fight, half the team broke off and went and made Metro. And one of the original co-founders brought that studio back to life. And to come out with your first game since you brought your studio back to life and show out at E3 like they did. That game is one of the highest quality and probably one of the most next gen games that we have seen yet. And I'm including Ratchet and Clank, I'm including everything. The lighting effects, the ray tracing that they're using in that
Excellent.
game, the use of lights and shadow, everything about that game says this came from, a 200 to 300 person team. And I think if I remember correctly, they're still under 100 people. They may be at 100 people.
Okay.
But for them to come out and show out the special effects in that game, the animations, the facial animations in that game are absolutely stunning. The scenery, the environment, everything in that game speaks to high quality and polished, absolutely polished. And I really wanted to see that game this year. That was supposed to be a 2021 launch. But when they said April, I wasn't even disappointed at that point. I was like, you know what? Take your time. You guys have earned it. Go ahead. Keep polishing, because what we saw yesterday, I'd play now. Well, I don't know any bugs, that they're fixing on or anything like that, but that game looked good enough to be on my Series X right now, right? And so if they want to take until next April to get this thing done and get it perfect, beautiful. I hope actually Microsoft and Xbox look at acquiring these guys. I really hope so. They're from the Ukraine, I believe. I really hope they look at acquiring, because this is a team with a lot of talent. So Stalker 2, absolutely top of my list. And then I would have to go to Forza Horizon 5. Now, I caveat this a little bit because with the information coming out, Steele, and you and I had a conversation today a little bit behind the scenes. With the information coming out today that what we saw was 4K 30 on the Series X console, and it's going to be 1080 30 on the Series S. I'm not going to lie and say I'm cool with that. I'm going to say that I'm disappointed that the team could not get a balance where they got it to a 60 frames. Now, I know they're coming out with a performance mode. They've already announced it. We're going to get 60 frames. I get that. I would like to have seen them actually get it to 60 frames, cut down some of the resolution a little bit, and give us that as the main version, right? As the one that they're advertising versus the 4K 30. I think they could have given us an option for 4K 30, as well, but I think they should have rolled with the 60 frame one. I understand completely why they did. They wanted this to be the showpiece, and it was the showpiece.
100%.
The environments looked real life quality. We're talking about absolutely. I thought some of those things that they were showing us when they were talking about the 12K scans that they used to create the environment, I literally thought they were showing us a picture and all of a sudden there's cars driving through it. Yeah, I was like blown away. So I get why they did this. And I hope with a little bit more time, they can squeeze some more juice out of the Series X or optimize some stuff and maybe get it up there. I don't need the ray tracing. The ray tracing is gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. The ray tracing is gorgeous. I love ray tracing. I love how it looks. But in a racing game, especially, you and I talked about behind the scenes, Steel, you got to have 60 frames as your focus in a racing game. In a high speed game, high action game, there should be nothing less than 60 frames. Okay. That period. Period. That's just me. And I know others are okay with the 30 and want the 4K. Give them the option. I'm cool with that. I don't, that's fine with me. Your focus should be the 60 frame mode, that type of game. So that was a little disappointing to me, but I gotta say the game, what they showed was absolutely jaw dropping. Again, you can't ask for much more. Playground is one of the top devs out there. If Fable shows up and looks like this, bro, they are going to be the new kings and queens in the dev world. If they can put together an open world RPG in Fable that has these types of environments, oh boy. I think Fable's in good hands after seeing this. But I was happy to see that they did. A lot of people worried when they said that Horizon was coming out instead of Motorsport, that we were just going to get a reskinned Forza 4 or Forza Horizon 4. They definitely put work into this game.
100%.
And the custom track mode, the battle royale mode, all that stuff shows that they didn't just go back and say, okay, we're just going to reskin this thing. Let's create some deserts. Let's create some jungles. Let's create some Mayan ruins and call it a day and walk away from it and say, yeah, it's done. Let's put it out. Which they could have done. They could have done. Forza Horizon 4 is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous on Series X. They could have done that, but they stepped up their game, and they actually did work on this. So that for me was impressive as well. And then for my third game, I gotta say, Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042. I know it's a third-party game, but I don't care. I think that let's put it this way. What they showed with the actual game from the multiplayer in Battlefield silenced a lot of critics yesterday,
Right.
Which was going to be hard to do. But I saw a lot of people that were complaining about that $70 price point and no single player the day before or 2 days before. All of a sudden, we're like, oh, okay. Well, that looks really awesome. That looks like these maps are gigantic, and I'm starting to understand maybe why they decided to not have a single player, and there was less complaining about the $70 price point.
Right.
So I think that showed extremely well. It is a boon for Microsoft and Xbox to have that marketing rights for this game, because I think Battlefield's got a real chance to be one of the contenders, even up against a Halo, even up against a Call of Duty. I think Battlefield has a real contender to be one of those games that is constantly engaged with by people from what they showed yesterday. Again, the size of the maps, the sandstorms, the weather, the tornado coming in, the flight suits, the traversal between buildings. They recreated a bunch of moments from the trailer, like the four-wheeler jumping off the building and hitting the helicopter, and then they showed us glimpses of some of the other maps again. But just to see all that in live, real multiplayer,
Right.
and the chaos that was happening, that was impressive. And it definitely was a highlight of the show. There was a lot of people talking about it today, and there's a good reason for it. And I think that I'm just happy. Again, I'm a Battlefield guy, if you can't tell. So for me, again, there's a little extra to it, but I really, really liked what I saw from it. And I really can't wait until it shows up. No, it didn't have the Game Pass on it. It was one of the 3 games showing that didn't have Game Pass. But I'm still excited. If that's one of the games I have to buy this year, I'm okay with that.
I still find it interesting that the fact that it was shown specifically at the Xbox show, and it's not going into Game Pass. I still find that extremely interesting. Now, the only reason I say that it's interesting is because we know that Xbox and EA have EA access with Game Pass, right? So that makes me think about that play. Now, we know that you're going to get the 10-hour trial, whatever the case might be, with EA access, sure, and whatnot. But it just makes me kind of really question it all and made me kind of look at it from a different angle, because why would you specifically show it here? Like it was it's part of your showcase. Like it's something that you have in your bag.
Because marketing rights.
Sure.
I know it's different now because Game Pass has changed the game. So I understand where you're coming from, Steel, is what I'm trying to say. Because Game Pass has changed the game. So now when you see a game like back in the day, that always happened. Like Call of Duty would show up on, for a time, it was Xbox's stage, right? And then it flip-flopped over to Sony's stage, right? And they would show off the multiplayer or whatever else, or the single-player campaigns. But now when that happens, because Game Pass is just sitting there, it adds a little element as to, okay, so you had 30 games, 27 of them are Game Pass. You had 3 outliers that weren't. Are we just saying that those are never coming to Game Pass, or is it just a matter of time, or what? I understand exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing is just not saying that it has to come to Game Pass or whatever the case might be. I don't care whether it comes to Game Pass or not. It's one of those things. But for me, I just found it really convenient that you have that whole EA access play in there. Yes, it could be marketing or whatever the case might be. It just kind of makes me feel like EA access might maybe I'll just throw this out there, throwing in some extra plans to where you can get EA Pro or whatever the case might be for extra $5 a month or whatever to get access to these games. It could be something down the road that gets looked at. I'm not saying that will happen. I just found it interesting, if anything, that they chose the Battlefield was there instead of it at its own thing. Again, EA didn't seem like they had much to show themselves anyway, like they usually pretty much do, where they have their own little show or whatever the case might be. It didn't seem like they had anything to show for real. So again, them with Xbox having the marketing and everything, it does make sense. And then to just kind of sneak in with your buddy and just show off your wares before you get further off to the year, get that hype built up. So
right.
You brought up some good ones. Go ahead.
Oh no, I got number four. Number four and final was actually the last game of the show, Redfall. The new game from Arcane, formerly known underneath the code name Omen.
Okay.
Yes, it turned out to not be a Legacy of Kain game, as I kind of had predicted elsewhere and on our show. But I was, even though we saw no gameplay, even though we've only had some very loose descriptions of what this game is actually going to be, I thought Arcane did an awesome job of starting to build the characters up as to what they're going to be like. They gave a very good overview of what the world you're going to be stepping into is like. They gave a very good feel of the kind of atmosphere they're going for. And I just love Arcane. So for me, I can't wait to see gameplay and what this game's going to be all about. But again, with the characters that they created, the comedy that they used, even the music that they used, and how they directed that whole CGI trailer was awesome, man. That was straight up Arcane. And everything to me made me more curious about the game. I didn't look at the game and go, oh, this, another generic, co-op shooter. I didn't look at it that way. I said, you know what? These characters have a lot of personality. The enemies have a lot of personality.
Yeah.
It looks like we're going to get a lot of different types of enemies, diverse enemies. It looks like those enemies themselves are going to have leaders who have big personalities or who have a story behind them. So it definitely made me want to know more about this game. And I'm looking forward to it. I was really shocked they said summer of 2022. That's right around the corner. That's a year. That's less time than Starfield. So they must have been working on this game for quite a long time. I imagine this was one of the games that Phil and his team saw when they went to acquire Bethesda ZeniMax. So I guarantee this is one of those games that they looked at as being under production. And so I'm really, really happy and excited to see this Arcane game finally shown. And it's definitely something on my radar, high on my radar list. So those are my four, Steel. I guess we'll flip the script on you. So again, you start out by asking me, what did you like? What did you take away from the Xbox show? What got you going? What did you think they did well?
All right. So again, it's needless to say, Xbox had an amazing show. Again, it's been so unmatched. Again, for as far as I can think back of any E3 or any presentation, this was definitely a solid one. For me, if I had to pick four, I'm definitely going to start off with.
Oh, tell me first, like I had to. Tell me what you liked about overall, what you like about the show.
Overall, what I liked about the show, it's going to be the pacing. I like the fact that they came out and pretty much what was important to me is that you could tell that they listened to their community. Again, it's something that I've always held Microsoft to, and one of the reasons why I don't see my liking doesn't just go towards the console for Xbox. It's for Microsoft in total. Microsoft has always been pretty solid as far as customer service goes. They've always been a company that tends to listen to their customers more so than others. You know what I mean? And they displayed a lot of that in the show. They displayed personality, they displayed tenacity, they displayed that that they're not playing games, that a lot of the rhetoric and everything that people were going around about Xbox not having games or games not being exclusive or whatever that case might be, they gave you the roadmap. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what a lot of people were asking for. Now, some people are underwhelmed per se, as far as they could have shown X amount of things. Again, for me, they showed as I don't ever go into E3 with X amount of expectations. I go in there as a gamer, just trying to see what they're going to display. What wares are they going to show? It's like you going to the flea market, right? And you just want to see what the different stands got. If you might see something that pulls your attention, and if there is, there is. If not, then there's not. Again, we always like for there to be the key things there that we're looking for, whatever the case might be. I know both me and you were on the Splinter Cell train, hopefully seeing it there. We didn't get that. There's also some other titles that we didn't get that possibly we may get talked about Thursday. And again, seeing Xbox getting that ball rolling, I feel like was important to me. Again, the pacing of everything and how they handled the entire show, them coming out with Todd Howard spoke volumes to me. Again, not seeing Phil Spencer until the end of the show spoke volumes to me on their faith on Bethesda. How much, Bethesda may have had a impact on their, not just the studio, but just an impact on the company as a whole. You could definitely kind of feel the family vibes and everything else, or whatever the case might be. But I feel like with ZeniMax coming in there and being part of it, the whole umbrella being part of it now, you could just tell that there was a different swagger about just not about everything, about the entire show. So I feel like the pacing spoke to that. So,
was there anything missing that you thought?
Missing? No, I don't think anything was missing. For me personally, I don't think anything was missing per se.
Yeah, for you.
Not for me. Not for me personally. There was nothing missing. There was nothing that I could have been like, oh, when I think about it now, I've watched it twice. When I think about it now, I don't say, oh, I wish this was there. This was there again. I'm one of those where I don't have all this anticipation, hype, whatever else the case might be. I just go in there as a gamer and seeing what I get. The most important thing was me seeing Halo. For that and Forza. Those are my two important things. I wanted to make sure that the iterations on those were what they needed to be, and I'll get into that. With that being said, the 4 games that I would give it, of course, I'm gonna say Halo. Halo's at the top of the list for me.
Absolutely.
The way that they introduced that trailer, the way that they brought it in and invoked emotion that I hadn't felt from a game. Well, Mass Effect gave me some of those vibes, but that I hadn't felt from, let's just stick with Halo in a long time, since I'll say 4 would definitely evoked that emotion. But to see them pull at the heartstrings, especially when the whole scene, you see him bouncing and whatnot, you having that conversation that says, hey, you have 1 bullet, and Master Chief saying that that's enough. And then him having the interaction with the dead soldier in the whip before he goes and gets the gun from him. Again, that was a heartfelt moment. I always find it amazing what Xbox has been able to do. Bungie and now into 343, what they've been able to do to bring a masked man to life. A guy that's in a full suit of armor. It's kind of like the Mandalorian, right? Where you see somebody that's in a full suit of armor.
Good analogy.
And they add so much, and they evoke so much emotion and intensity, and this demonstrate. You can kind of demonstrate the engagement through them and their actions and everything. That was delicious to me, man. Again, it was everything that I needed to be. The whole coming to find out that you're having this whole interaction with Cortana now, what seems to be Cortana, finding out that she's deleted somehow, or whatever the case might be. Again, going back to 4 when Chief had that exchange with Cortana, then that made it extremely personal. They kind of brought that right back around to now. Cortana went from being a rogue AI to Chief saying, oh, well, the mission always changes. So it just spoke to me in ways that, as a Halo fan, that I feel like I hadn't been spoken to in a while, and they really pulled at the heartstrings. Now, the most important part, again, I feel like it's the multiplayer. Campaign, of course. That's needless to say. We're not going to get any more from the story or campaign or whatever the case might be for a while. Probably more closer to the release. The multiplayer was everything that I needed it to be. It evolved Halo in ways that I can't complain about. It did everything that I needed Halo to do. It was in the words of Jeff Grubb, it was a Halo game. And that's what I wanted. But again, it wasn't just a Halo game. Like, I'm saying that in a bad way. It was them reiterating on something that already was great. And then taking it into a good direction, whether it was between the grappling hook, not only giving you verticality, but also getting the weapons, pulling you towards players, it's just pulling you towards vehicles, hijacking and everything. I thought that was off the chain. To the shields and block and reflecting attacks to people. Just seeing the momentum between everything just seemed off the chain, man. And it gave that hype to the point where I was definitely looking for there to be some kind of a beta or something. Right after the show, I was like, man, I need this multiplayer right now. Let me jump into it. Again, they did everything that they were supposed to do for Halo. And I couldn't be more excited, and I couldn't be more happier with what they brought to the table. Again, we've been playing this fine line with 343 on whether they can handle Halo. Again, we'll still have to go down the road and see. With all the help that they have on it right now, I'm glad that it's where it's at. I just hope that they're able to sustain it in the long run. Again, just playing that fine line between listening to the community and also creating your own game is something that's very difficult. But they're seemingly, especially with what we heard from the day, to bring that in a little bit. They gave another multiplayer overview today, breaking down everything, telling you that about the customization, where it's going to be fully customizable. Your Spartan's going to be fully customizable. There's no more red versus blue. They want you to fully demonstrate your creativity. You're gonna have your own custom AI, so whatever you can pick, whatever voice. You can pick the appearance of your AI and everything. So you know how they have that classic Halo voice, announcer voice or whatever. You're gonna actually be able to pick
Jack.
You're gonna be able to pick your own voice, whatever you want to hear. So I thought that was cool. To hear them that they're going to put out a battle pass that's not going to go away if they bring in a new one, I thought was really dope. Again, for a free-to-play game and them introducing a battle pass, I know people are kind of on the fence with it, but if they do it like other battle passes, where once you buy that first one, you can get everything that you need to get the next battle pass, I feel like that's going to be awesome. Again, also not making people feel like they need to rush do a battle pass or make it feel like it's some kind of like it's work or whatever the case, and letting the player completely decide what they want to work on, when they want to work on it, and everything else. I feel like it was amazing. There's not many other games doing something similar to that. Again, the closest reference that I can pull is Avengers, and even that's not close because they do it for each individual character. So that can be kind of a turnoff depending on how you want to look at that. But I thought that was awesome. And just seeing how passionate they seemed about and how serious they were taking the entire multiplayer experience spoke to me in many ways. I was a competitive Halo player. I played many hours of Halo, whether it was custom games or, like I said, competitive. And just seeing that everything that they're doing, they're taking Halo and taking it to the next level like they needed to. And it's good to see. I'm happy with it. Big team battles, getting that upgrade, 12. I think it's 12 versus 12 that they're doing. And then the all the destruction they were adding to the vehicles, add the different aspects to the, for example, like the Warthogs and whatnot. If you shoot off the tires in the Warthogs, it drives differently. The vehicles will start reacting differently depending on how they're affected and the damage they've taken. They've also added a AI system or a training system so that for newer players, if you're not, because that's something that's always been kind of hard for newer players to jump into Halo, where Halo's one of those things where if you're not consistent with it, you will get left behind. So for them to add a training mode into it, for you not to only get warmed up, for newer players to kind of adjust their difficulty level or whatever the case, it kind of reminds me of Smash Brothers. That's the biggest comparison that I can bring it to, because Smash Brothers does the same kind of thing where you can pick an AI, a bot component or opponent or whatever, and set their level to whatever you feel comfortable fighting against. And to see that Halo's doing something similar to that is very interesting to me, because it's like, okay, well, if I want to practice getting certain moves off, I know that I don't have to go to multiplayer to practice these things and worry about my KD or whatever the case might be, because that's how it goes in these games. I can go into a training mode, practice these things or whatever the case might be, deal with the different weapons, and really get my tactics down before, or whoever can get their tactics down before they jump into the actual game. So again, with everything that they're establishing within this, they're doing a fantastic job. I'm excited for it, and that's what I needed to see. What else? Horizon 5. Oh, go ahead.
Hold on. Let me bounce off you real quick, just because I didn't bring up Halo, because I knew you were going to cover this extensively too. Halo definitely impressed me from a casual fan standpoint. I played all the Halos, love them all, in their own unique way. I do like them, but I'm never going to be that guy that puts hundreds to thousands of hours in the multiplayer. But I do enjoy hopping in. But I just wanted to kind of bounce off of you real quick. The Halo showcase. Okay, so the whole Xbox showcase definitely had some influence from Bethesda written all over it. Pete Hines and his genius marketing group. I think we can attribute some of the pacing to them, and the decisions that were made for some of the placement was definitely on them. When it came to Halo specifically, my first thought was, this has Joseph Staten written all over it.
Okay.
This has this had his fingerprints all over it. Compared to what they've shown up to this point, he took it back to the original Halo days from where he came from. This had, and again, this is from a casual fan, not a hardcore. And I've heard the hardcore talk about this all day long. I've heard, anybody I know that's hardcore, like you or Mav or anybody talk at 3-bit talking about this stuff. And then I've heard, other people too in the community talk about this, but I could see it. I could feel it. This had that old Bungie feel to it. Even the way that they cut and edited the multiplayer portion of it was Bungie. 100%. That was not 343 cuts, right? You know what I'm saying? I thought I was watching it, and again, I've heard everybody else, but I thought I was watching, it had that feel of Halo 3, Halo 2. It had that feel to it, with obvious and upgrades, very extensive upgrades, right? And the grappling hook increased verticality. You could see that in the levels. The chaos seems, and me, I love chaos in multiplayer. That's why I love Battlefield. I love chaos. Looks like they've cranked that up a notch or two with everything that's going on within Halo. So I thought that was really cool. And then you were talking about the story elements, the little slice that we did get with Chief. Dude, come on, man. The other trailers we've seen have been him and the other dude, the guy flying the ship. And a lot of people were kind of turned off by that, right? This right here, I had hit so many people with the feels, and I ain't gonna lie, it even hit me, even though I'm not hardcore into Halo or the lore. I know little bits and pieces of it. I know enough of it, but I've never delved deep. But that whole conversation between him and Cortana 2.0 or whatever you want to call her. Whatever she is, dude, that was special. That had a lot of emotion and depth to it. And it again, that personality behind the mask that you talk about, Steel, that is very hard to pull off whenever you have a faceless main character that has been just basically a guy, a super let's just call it. He's like a super soldier, right? But he is what he is. But then to be able to give him emotion through that mask is something special, and something we hadn't seen from 343 really a whole lot of. And so this is Joseph Staten all over again. This is the guy who wrote so many of the originals, right? All the way up through ODST, he had his fingerprints all over.
Right.
That is special. And that's why they brought him back. And I thought it was hilarious that Bonnie had to get on stage with him and basically pass the baton to him. I know that was probably tough for her to do, but you could see that Joseph has brought back an identity to Halo, and really leaning heavily into the history of when it was in its prime, right?
Yeah.
When it was firing
100%.
on all cylinders. Dude, as a casual guy, I was excited to see what I was seeing on the screen. I was excited by the action. I was excited by what they were doing with the story. And so for me, again, it was an awesome showing and something that I was glad to see, because I would, even as a casual Halo fan, I want to see Halo continue. And I want to see Halo bring in new players who have never experienced it before.
Yeah.
And I think they're on the right track with all the stuff you talked about. The barrier to entry being brought down to nothing. The training, being able to go up against AI, get better at skills, because we all know, as a casual person, you walk into some of those Halo matches, you're just overmatched, man. There's nothing you can do about it. It can get old real quick. This will give people a lot easier access to it. So that's all I want to say about Halo, but great showing. Loved it. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
So.
And another point, just to kind of wrap up my whole Halo point. The way, and one of the main points, and I can't stress this enough, the way that I know that that they did what they're supposed to, because now every time that I think about Halo Infinite, or now every time that I hear something more about the multiplayer, I'm thinking about what we've shown, it makes me feel some kind of way. And it might not do that for everybody, but for me personally, every time that I think about it, because of how invested I've been into Halo, it makes me feel some kind of like, so like, it's to a point, like at least during the trailer, and I told y'all this during the during when we were live yesterday, it low key brought a tear to my eye a little bit, where it was just like, yo, like literally. And even now it kind of gives me that butterfly feeling of, I've been playing this game since 2001. Like, and it's 2021, 20 years in the making. And again, you know, y'all make fun of me all the time. I'm a younger dude. I'm 28, about to be 29. Since I was 8 years old, I've been playing Halo. And just to see where they have gone and the ups and downs, and us being worried from what we saw last year, to, you know, it needing polishing. And like you were saying, with Joseph Stanton being, again, Bonnie handing that baton off to him, it was needed. He needed to come back, because that level of emotion, that level of whatever I'm feeling now, wasn't there with 4 and 5 for the most part, like it should have been, you know. But either way, it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. They did everything.
Let me tell you, Steele, that twinge of nostalgia that's itching at you right now only gets worse as you get older.
Oh no, I know. Nah, there's only certain games that do that.
Correct. I'm just saying
Halo,
that emotion.
Halo and Gears are the two games that could do that to me.
Right, number 2,
Horizon 5. Horizon 5 is definitely my number 2. As a racing fan, someone who's been playing Forza Motorsport since 2. I cannot understate to you guys the magic that they pulled off with this game. It presented beautifully. Again, like Pong was saying, my biggest turnoff with it is that I'm not going to say that they settled, because I'm not a dev, and I don't know what went into this and everything else. And as great and as beautiful as the game looked, it is what it is. But at the same time, I am not playing a racing game at 30 frames. It does not feel good. It does not play good. And once you play it at 60, and I'm telling everybody this, I don't care how beautiful the game is, unless you're taking pictures, you playing that racing game at 30 and you playing it at 60, you're going to feel the difference, and you're not going to want to go back. It just is what it is. Again, like you said, they're going to get they're working on a performance mode or whatever. It's the same thing they did with Ratchet. There's a 4K 30 mode in Ratchet 2, which again, I still don't think is acceptable, but it is what it is. But they also have a performance mode that has some ray tracing in it also. So I think they're going to do something similar with Forza. Again, it's a cross-gen title. It is what it is. And I'm just looking for them, because one of the main things that turned me off about Horizon 4 is the in-between races. I like to play ranked when I play Forza. Or even unranked, however I play. But there's these in-between races that you do. They're like cross-country rushes that I don't like. It's part of the main reason I'd like to deal more with the Forza Motorsport series, because it's strictly racing. I don't understand why Horizon can't give you that same option within that world, and why I have to do a race, do a cross country where there is no rules, do a race, then and I'm being graded for this. I hope that that's something that they take away. I liked everything that they brought into this, as far as the scenery, as far as the way the overall game looked. It looked magnificent, and I'm looking forward to it. That goes without it being said. Number 3 for me. Oh, I was going to say Battlefield, but I want to keep it more so, because since you said Battlefield, I want to keep it more towards what was more so what Xbox was showing. Atomic Heart pulled my interest. It was a game that, like you had said, has been talked about in the background. I didn't really know about too much of it until yesterday, and it looked like a very intriguing game. From everything that they're doing, it gave me like Cyberpunk vibes, Blade Runner vibes. It gave me iRobot vibes. And it was just being like, I don't know what area they're in. It kind of looked like Russia a little bit, like this crazy part of Russia, whatever the case might be.
Russian developer, another Russian developer, Ukraine, I think. Yep.
So it looked like it was out that way. I like the scenery. I like what they were doing and everything they were presenting with the gameplay. So I'm interested to find more about that. I think it's going to be a single player game. It's going to be a story driven game. So we're definitely interested to see how that's going to go. I know you were telling me that it's been worked on in the background for quite a while. So
yeah, like 7 years, I think 6 years, 7 years, some crazy. Yeah.
So to hear that, and then to see what we got yesterday and it coming to Game Pass is amazing to me. So I mean, I guess we'll find out how great the level of detail in the game was. Crazy. Again, like you were saying with Stalker, like what they're doing with these games and going into the next gen is just it's stunning.
Mind blowing.
It's crazy. Because yes, I mean, like you were saying, everything in Stalker looked like it was buck wild. Like
that rail gun and the lightning.
Like we were talking about that in the background not that long ago. How we want lightning effects really to be brought to life more, because that's what we love. We love seeing those effects.
Can you imagine a future Star Wars games that use lightning effects like that for the dark side lightning?
Hey, we got a new KOTOR that's getting worked on. So.
Oh my God.
we got some hopes, but yeah, Atomic Heart was definitely in there for me. And I was gonna throw Redfall in there, but you brought that up. And then the other one that I have to throw in there because it was that 32-bit, 16-bit game, Replaced. Yeah. Seeing not only that side-scrolling action, but also seeing that combat as you know, I'm all about combat and everything. And so what I was seeing in there, hopefully that wasn't like a cutscene or whatever. If you're able to do some of those moves and it's that kind of combat style, that's gonna be insane. I'm gonna fall in love with it.
Dude, how crazy was it that the game started out so chill and you were like, okay, this is gonna be kind of like a horror kind of, creepy kind of one.
And
then
the next thing you know, he's breaking somebody's arm and shooting them in the head. Like I was like,
right in the back of the skull. My God,
this game is insane. But to be that style of game and to do what they've done with it and to pique the interest that they have, and it's going into Game Pass, it's like, man, I was excited for that one. So out of the 4 that's what I would have to say: Halo Infinite, Horizon, Replaced, and Atomic Heart. I would definitely pick those. Those are my stunners for the show. I believe.
Good calls, man. Calls.
But other than that, man, Xbox to me personally. Anybody else can feel how they want to feel about it. They knocked it out the park. They did everything that I needed them to do. They gave us a roadmap. They gave us, I know people are so upset. Oh, they showed us CGI. They gave you in-engine rendered, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
That's in engine. And we're already getting to a point where you're starting, as you see with Gears especially, you're already unable to tell the difference between the cutscene and actual gameplay. And if we're going to continue that, it's going into this generation, man, that's one thing that I'm excited to see.
Hell yes.
So
Agreed,
I'm
100%.
I'm excited for that. The future looks bright. Again, everybody was saying that 2022 was going to be dead, and we're going to have to wait for the faucet to be turned on until 2023. Obviously, we're seeing that that's not true. Again, there's another Xbox extended showcase that they're showing on Thursday, so we're going to find out more of what potentially we could be getting. We're supposed to be hearing from people like Ninja Theory. Apparently, there's a couple few others over there I can't think.
Sounds like a lot of dev interviews, but we may get some peaks.
Some key points.
Grub said we might see a little bit of Hellblade 2 on Thursday, so we'll definitely be keeping our eyes open for that stuff.
Yeah,
sure.
It's definitely the future's looking bright. As far as
it's just starting.
Everything is going. So I'm interested. Well, with that being said, that was the Xbox and Bethesda showcase.
Before we move on for Xbox, should we just run through the whole list again for people real quick, just to give them an idea of what was shown of the 30 titles? You want to run through it real quick?
Let's go.
Yeah, well, let's run through it real quick. So it started out, obviously, Todd Howard on stage. God Howard, praise be his name. He was there. The beautiful man started everything off. Like Steele said, it said more words than anything if Phil had come out there and explained what they were going to do. Just having God Howard on stage first was awesome. He introduced Starfield. Obviously, we just got the sneak peek, the little trailer, all in-game assets used. Everybody likes to call it CGI. It's a little bit more than CGI. This is in-game stuff with the new Creation Engine 2. Gave us a little first glimpse as to what we're going to be looking at there. For anybody who is hyped like me for Starfield, there's some great interviews that he did as supplements. Go find them. They're out Washington Post. You can search it. But he does give more information. Basically, anybody who has not read those articles yet, real quick, the quotes from the articles are Skyrim in space, exactly what we were talking about. And the other one that just got me hype levels up even more was a Han Solo simulator. Okay, you got me. I'm putting in vacation time already for next year. Okay, period. Done. Over with. So they announced Starfield with the date of 11/11/22. And I'm sure we'll be seeing more soon. Next up was Stalker 2, which both Steele and I just talked about in depth. Amazing. Go watch it in 4K if you haven't. If you have the ability, it's incredible. Then they came out with Back for Blood. Obviously got leaked beforehand, but Back for Blood from Turtle Rock, the original guys who created Left 4 Dead, that got the approval to kind of copy it from Valve, actually. And Back for Blood is coming into Game Pass day and date. Huge get from Microsoft. Looking fantastic. Going to be an awesome multiplayer experience with your friends. They have got PvP where you get to be monsters versus the survivors. Oh, man, it's going to be crazy. That's coming out October 12th. Stalker 2, I should let you guys know again, April 28th, 2022. Then we got the first glimpse at Project Typhoon that Jez was teasing about. A lot of people were teasing about. That's, of course, from Avalanche Studios, who, rumor has it, are all but acquired at this point. I know there were some rumors going around that we're going to hear acquisitions. Avalanche was the one that I thought was going to be done there. Obviously, probably just timing wise didn't work out. But this is their brand new IP that is exclusive with Xbox and Microsoft, and it's called Contraband. And it's kind of a 70s setting. You're going to be running contraband. You're going to be moving weight around off of an island, and it's going to be a co-op game where you got to plan out your strategies, kind of like Payday, but hopefully a lot better. But vehicles are going to be the focus of this game, and obviously we know what Avalanche did with Mad Max. If you've ever played Mad Max, the vehicle combat is absolutely out of this world, so I can't wait to see what they do with Contraband. Steele, if you got anything on any of these, just jump in on me, man. If you want to say your 2 cents. Sea of Thieves announced a exciting expansion with Disney to bring Captain Jack Sparrow. Who does not love Captain Jack Sparrow? Even for a guy who's probably played maybe 2 hours of Sea of Thieves, I was like, all right, maybe I got to jump into this one. Pirates of the Caribbean expansion releasing free of charge on June 22nd with a whole brand new story. And it sounds like, if you listen and you watch the trailer, it sounds like they actually got Johnny Depp and some of the actors and actresses from Pirates of the Caribbean to reprise their roles. Looks absolutely crazy. That's coming out June 22nd. What a great mashup that is. That is like one of the most perfect things they could have done. So I can't wait for that. Then of course we had the Battlefield 2042 multiplayer showcase. Again, go watch it 4K if you got the opportunity. Out of this world, man. If you're a Battlefield lover, you're gonna get goosebumps everywhere. That's coming out October 22nd. No Game Pass announcement for that as of yet. Then we got Psychonauts 2, the long-awaited sequel. That one got a release date August 25th. Looked absolutely gorgeous. Really diverse, different locations and setups, and just game styles. They had multiple game styles. It looked a lot like It Takes Two. If you guys ever watched video or played that, it looks like just a crazy, really fun game. We already know the writing and comedy is going to be off the charts, but Psychonauts 2 really showed out as well. Then we got a breakdown of Fallout 76 and some of their new DLC called, what is it called?
Oh, Fallout 76. It's called Steel Rain.
That's right. That's right, brother. Give a second, but yeah, it's called Steel Rain. Actually, my brother from another is starring in this DLC, and you will play as the man himself, Steel Rain. No, not actually, but pretty freaking awesome that it's coming out, and it's called Steel Rain. That's amazing. So they talked about the DLC and kind of their roadmap. Probably one of the slower parts of the whole show, but still cool to see them actually still building this game, even though it didn't the way they wanted it to. It's actually become a really good game. So that was good to see. They're going to continue with that. Elder Scrolls Online. They talked about the console enhancement for Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. That's happening June 15th. So any ESO players out there, guess what? It's going to be looking even better than it already does. Love that game. I just can't jump back into it because all my stuff is stuck over on the PlayStation side and I can't transfer it. So I'm not playing ESO anymore, but it is fantastic for any Elder Scrolls fans. Then we had the crazy, funny, kid-like, but very violent, if you watch the trailer. And actually, I actually said I might play this one, even though I don't play Among Us. I don't play Fall Guys. I'll never touch those games. But this one had enough to it that I actually liked it. I think, Steel, you actually chuckled a few times in this one too. Party Animals. My God, this looks fun. Go watch the trailer. If you can't smile a little bit, I can't help you, but you got to smile a little bit on this one. It's just quirky enough, funny enough. It looks like a bunch of stuffed animals with crazy physics, right? The crazy physics, and you're trying to beat each other off platforms. They were throwing each other into furnaces. Let's go watch. It looks fun as hell, and it could be a big hit. Funny enough, just like Among Us, and just like Fall Guys hit. If this one comes off right, this could be the new streaming sensation when it launches, and that's coming day and date in Game Pass. And then that's going to be that's next year. That's 2022. Then we got the big news. I almost included this on my list, but I already knew this game, so I already was excited for it. So for me, I was just hyped that we finally got the announcement. Hades is coming to Game Pass August 13th of this year. This is a gigantic get for Microsoft and Xbox into Game Pass. It is also going to PlayStation. They announced it, but everybody over there is going to be paying full price for it. We get it in Game Pass as long as you're a Game Pass subscriber. Hades won gazillion awards, and it is a roguelite. It is a beautiful game. The music soundtrack is absolutely out of this world. A stunning animation style. Go watch it if you have any interest in roguelites at all. Even if you don't, it's coming to Game Pass. Try it out. It looks absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Then we got the Halo Infinite blowout, which we talked about in tons here. Then we got Far Cry 6. We got more glimpses into the gameplay. Again, they're just pumping out the Far Cry 6 stuff. Then Replaced, which Steel just talked about. Awesome looking game. That's coming out in 2022. And of course, will be coming to Game Pass. Among Us, they finally announced that it will be coming to Game Pass later and cloud later this year. And they're upping it to 15-player lobbies on June 15th for wherever it's available now. Then we got Obsidian showed up, got a grounded new update, Shroom and Doom. They are going to 1.0 finally, it sounds like. That expansion will release on June 30th. Great trailer. Really funny. Obsidian gets it. They know how to do their stuff. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Even though I don't play Grounded, I just love watching Obsidian and how they advertise and market. It's beautiful. So that's coming out for all you Grounded players. 12 Minutes, the highly anticipated indie title, finally got a release date for that, and it's going to be in Game Pass. This is the one where everything takes place in one apartment over a 12-minute period. You got to kind of solve the mystery. It's a mystery thriller, and it's got James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, and William Dafoe in the voice cast. Looks wow. I love the look of this game. I can't wait. That's coming in August 19th. We got the Outer Worlds 2 announcement. Obsidian came back again, another great trailer. Totally made fun of themselves, totally made fun of these types of shows and what people actually get to see and how they set up all the trailers.
Mhm.
Outer Worlds 2 is coming, and it's going to be to the consternation of many a PlayStation person. If you go look underneath their announcement on Twitter and the comments that were made there, it is going to be only Xbox exclusive.
Hold on, Paul.
So
Trevor said, I know he's not, I know it's not correct. But it's which 3 games were not coming to Game Pass? It was Diablo 2, Battlefield, and what else?
Diablo 2, Battlefield, and it was
because Hades is coming to Game Pass. Trevor,
Hades is coming to Game Pass. 100%. Oh God, why can't I think, man? It's got it on the tip of my tongue. Hold on. I got to think about this. Hold on. It's Battlefield, Diablo 2, and what is the other one?
Back 4 Blood's going into Game Pass too.
Back 4 Blood. What is the other one? Can I think of it right now? Hold on.
Far Cry?
It's so dumb too. Yeah, Far Cry. Yes. Thank you. Yes, Far Cry. No Game Pass. So Far Cry, Battlefield 2042, and Diablo 2. Those were your 3. Thank you, Steel. You came through in the clutch, brother. Could not remember for the life of me. Where was I? Oh yeah, the Outer Worlds 2, and then we got the Microsoft Flight Simulator 4K 30. This will be the 130 game that I am okay with, Steel, and I think you will agree, knowing full well how Flight Simulator.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's
yeah.
Again, that's a
demanding this one
is. That's a technical reason.
Yes, how demanding this game is. But if you watch the trailer, it is absolutely beautiful. And then, sweetest of kisses, after this was announced, they also announced Top Gun Maverick DLC. You're going to be able to fly an F-18 jet fighter in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh my God, I was freaking out. I cannot wait. Of course, this is dropping the Game Pass as well. It's only for series consoles. This is truly like the real first next-gen game that we're going to see. And that comes July 27th. Looks absolutely fun. Just kick it on, relax, and go fly around the world. Visit your neighborhood. I can't wait.
Trevor, that's a good point. We couldn't remember the game they've shown the most.
I know. It's so stupid.
It's one of those because you were kind of expecting it for it to be in Game Pass, but it's not.
It's not. Right. Exactly. No, absolutely, Trevor. Agree with you wholeheartedly. My brain's mush right now anyways. So Forza Horizon 5, we talked extensively about that. Absolutely looks gorgeous. Again, watch the 4K. Yeah, the 30 frames is disappointing, but we will get that 60 frames mode. But it does look, I mean, what they did with that is out of this world. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then ended the show with Redfall. Again, I talked extensively about that. Excellent looking game. Can't wait. Arcane, love you. Yeah, you liked it too. Everybody did. I think everybody, even though we didn't get to see gameplay, again, as gamers who are passionate and love everything about this industry, I still get excited for trailers, even if they don't have gameplay. I know a lot of people hate them and downplay them and say that's not enough. I don't care. I get interested in stories by seeing those types of trailers, and Redfall did it in spades. Loved the look of it. Cannot wait. And then, of course, even after that, guys, if you didn't stick around, you would have missed one final announcement, one last thing. Mini fridge is coming. The Xbox mini fridge. That's right. They will hit the market at holiday 2021. They had a nice little, it was funny. They totally did not take themselves seriously. They called it velocity cooling.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was awesome. So anybody looking for the mini fridge, that's coming out this holiday season. And it looks like they did upgrade the ones that we saw from that energy drink that The Rock was pushing. They looks like they did a little bit more work. Yeah, it looks a little bit better than that one.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. That was the Xbox show. Hey, guys, in chat, all of you beautiful people who are still here watching us, give us a grade for the Xbox show. Steel, what did you grade the Xbox show then?
The Xbox show was a for me. A solid A.
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna give it an A- or A+, but I'll definitely give it an A.
I'll give it A.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Finish.
No, because I was gonna say because on a grading scale, it's still a 10 for me. It's still a 10. I mean, but if I'm gonna on a grading scale, I'm gonna give it an A.
Okay, cool. That's fine. I'll give it an A+. Again, within a vacuum by itself, not comparing it to anything else, just what it was for what they showed. I give it an A+.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they could have had other stuff in there, but from start to end, I was happy with everything they showed. Everything looked great. Yes, even Slime Rancher 2, which I did not mention in that list. But Slime Rancher 2 was announced. I even give that one props because it's a fun game that a lot of people do play. A lot of kids enjoy it. I don't care. They had something for everybody at this show,
fact.
so I'm cool with it. Yeah,
lots of varieties. Something that everybody was complaining about.
And 27 games in Game Pass. Again, it doesn't matter if I don't like the game; it's in Game Pass. I'm going to try it because that's who I am.
And again, I believe Caitlin was saying that it was Fort Boy who made the comparison. He was saying that even there's 27 games that are going into Game Pass. I think he was like, even if every game was $30 a game, just using it as an example, you're talking about over $800 in games that you're going to be spending money on. And over the next 2 years, that's only less than $300 in Game Pass that you're spending that money on, and you're getting 27 of them out of the 30 in Game Pass. So just to give people some perspective, because I thought that was an excellent point to make, because everybody just tries to deny the value or whatever the case might be. And if Xbox hasn't explained to you why the value is undeniable, thinking about it that way should tell you and give you plenty of reasons why it's undeniable. And that's not even the end of the games that they're announcing. That's just a slew of them that they wanted to present so far. So it's just something for us to look at, man. So excellent lineup, excellent show. Again, they're the stars of E3 so far, especially for me. Over the last 5 years that I can remember, best E3 so far. Again, me personally, the pacing is unmatched. From a game show, this is what we're looking for. So
correct.
With that being said, we move forward and we're going to look at, I believe the next show is, drum roll, please. Oh, no.
Hey, Steel, I got to step away real quick.
Oh, you good? Go ahead. I was trying to get my window up. I don't know what happens to the window. Let me just look at holler at some people in the chat real quick. Chase Jones says, getting Halo Infinite and replaced it in Game Pass is all I need, and I'm getting $60 Battlefield on PC. No crossplay concerns, but Battlefield keeps play base better than most. And Chase Jones, I would have to tell you, you're spitting nothing but the facts. Those are straight bars, my guy. They cannot go understated. I know a lot of people try to undermine it or not give the credence that it deserves. And hey, man, you can't sleep on what's going on. So, and that is 100% a fact. I'm trying to pull up my window so I can. There we go. Oh, for some reason I couldn't find it. But anyway, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about if anybody has anything else that they'd like to throw in there real quick, as we broke the E3 showcase down so far, so over the weekend. Go ahead and throw it in the chat. But with that being said, moving to Square Enix a little bit, and I'll actually give you my up points from Square Enix. Guardians of the Galaxy for Square Enix, I thought was interesting. Again, they made it a single player story driven game. I thought that was an amazing thing. I can't. Again, I feel like that's something they probably should have did with Avengers. They really lost out on a lot of opportunity and to. Oh no! Excuse me. No, I don't think Pong did. I don't think Pong mentioned Plague Tale 2 actually, and unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. I can't hear you, Pong.
That list was
There you go.
not complete. I just noticed that myself as I was
Okay.
looking at it. Sorry, I had to step away there. The dog was going to make a mess on the carpet if I didn't. So
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, no, that list was not a complete list of the 30, even though it claimed to be. It was missing a couple. I knew as I was reading them off, I was missing a couple. But yeah, Plague's Tale 2. There is a bunch of them. Slime Rancher 2. Let me pull up a new list.
The Hellboy said, "Still, did you hear the Splinter Cell sound in the trailer?" I did. I don't. In which trailer?
Yeah, that's going around. The Hellboy. Yeah, send it. Are you following Steel? You know what?
Yeah,
The Hellboy, send it to me. Either send it to me through the DMs or hit Steel up in the DMs.
Which trailer?
Yeah. The Microsoft trailer.
From which one?
It'll be the craziest Easter egg and hidden thing ever if it's real. So
Which Microsoft trailer did they show that in during the show?
Interesting. I think it was the Hellboy. Was it the one that ended the show? Can't remember which one that is from. I can't remember. But yeah,
I
the Hellboy.
Say, no, I didn't notice it. But we was also in a party talking, so I'm not completely sure.
It's very deep in the background. Like you have to listen very close. I want to find somebody who knows audio and can filter out everything and pull out that sound and see what it is. If you listen very closely, you can pick up on it.
Yeah, let Hellboy hit me or Pong up in the DMs. Send that our way. So I'll pull that up midstream, so we can look at that. And we'll listen to it together and see what we hear.
It's back there. It's deep in the background.
Trevor, you're absolutely right. The Like a Dragon Shadow drop for Game Pass, that was definitely dope.
That was in there. Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to find a new list here real quick so we can make sure it's complete.
Chase Jones says Sam Fisher was inside the mini fridge.
That was where the glow from the green came from, was his night vision.
He said it's in the Fun Speculation Discord. I don't have Twitter.
Okay, I'll pull it. Let me see if I can.
Let me know if you find it, Pong, because I think I can also. I might be able to pull it up. He said, plus you see the 3 green dots.
Yeah, that one I did not see. That would have to be pointed out to me, but
Is it the one from Killantis? I don't think so.
I'm trying to do this other thing here. Hold on.
You're good. We get a chance to pull that up. That's all good.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it. Definitely going to, because that's going to be an interesting fact. It's right during the Halo shot. Oh yeah, he said it's the one they finished the show with. What Infinite?
That was the one. That's what I thought. It was the one they finished the show with. Okay, all right. So let's
send it to the DM.
See here
if you find it.
All right. So first of all, here's the complete list of here's the 27 in Game Pass, and then we already know the 3 Far Cry 6, Diablo 2, and Battlefield 2042. But these are the other 27 games: Starfield, Redfall, Psychonauts 2, Age of Empires 4, which is PC only as of right now. It'll eventually come to console, but right now it was PC only. They had that there as well. Microsoft Outer Worlds 2, Microsoft Flight Simulator, Halo Infinite Multiplayer, Forza 5, Back 4 Blood, Contraband, Hades, Yakuza Like a Dragon going into Game Pass. That was another announcement. 12 minutes. Psychonauts 2, Doom, the enhancement for Doom, which was also in there. That's incredible, by the way. Go look at those enhancements. They're doing 60 frames with ray tracing. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
They're getting Doom to do that, Doom Eternal, to do 60 frames with ray tracing, and they're going to have a 120 performance mode if you want to do it that way. Evil Within 2 went into Game Pass. Rage went into Game Pass. They did that whole Bethesda thing where they talked about all the games. Fallout 2, Fallout 3. Those are the originals. Those are going into PC Game Pass, including Fallout Tactics as well. Dishonored is coming in. Arx Fatalis, which I believe is PC. Then we had Party Animals. Oh, yeah, Somerville. Somerville is the other indie. This is from the makers of Inside and Limbo. Some of those guys that originally made that, they have their own studio, and they put together Somerville, which is that one. Do you remember the family with the alien stuff?
Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah, looked pretty cool. 2D kind of indie game, really cool looking. Plague's Tale Requiem, Slime Rancher 2, Shredders, which was a snowboarding game. That actually looked kind of fun. I can't wait for that one to come out. Atomic Heart, which we talked about, Replaced. Euden Chronicle, 100 Heroes, along with Euden Chronicle Rising. Those are 2022 and 2023. This is from the original makers of Suikoden. If anybody remembers that old RPG on back in the day, where you had like over 100 different characters to create your party from. You could replace them, you could mix and match them. Awesome. And then we saw the Ascent again. So there's your complete list. I can see why they held out some of the other ones like the PC stuff. That's why they didn't have that on there. But yeah, that's your full list. And then let me see if I can get this.
I'm looking at the trailer. I'm looking at the trailer right now. That end trailer that they have.
Yeah, you have to listen to it really closely.
You're saying that they showed the green dots too, though.
I did not see the green dots. I did not know about the green dots. Nobody pointed those out to me. So
I'm watching it. I'm going through it right now.
What part did he say was that the Halo part?
What you said? Was it at the Halo part, the Hellboy? He said he sent it to you, Pong.
Okay.
You said he sent it to you both on Discord.
Okay. I've got it too. Infinite sent it to me as well. Here you go, Steel. I'll send it over to you.
I got the trailer. I got the trailer.
Oh, okay. It's from the 23 second mark, and pay attention to what you're seeing and hearing.
You said from the 23-second mark?
Yep.
Like literal 23 seconds?
That's what it says in the description.
That's like towards the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm about to pull it up for you guys, and we're gonna listen to it together. Just to let you know. Let's see. Let me pull this up. Like this in here.
Okay. It's like at the 30 mark.
All right. I'm about to play it right here. Hopefully it's not too loud for you all.
Okay, so it's like at the 28 through 30, like start at the 23 mark after during Yakuza.
At the 15-second mark.
Then go forward. They show all the Game Pass games, all the Bethesda Game Pass games coming in. That's where the 3 dots are. Now I get what they're saying. There's like use it as like a highlight for the games. It's like almost like a laser light almost looking thing, but there's 3 of them that pop up.
Where's that at? What time point? What time stamp?
Start at the 23.
Okay, I'm at 20. Okay, 23 seconds.
Yakuza? The Yakuza? The Yakuza or no?
No.
So you got a different video. You got a different video.
Let
me send this one to you.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a different video. Let me send this one to you.
I was about to say, what?
Boy, this show just got sidetracked, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's all good. I mean, this is something that we want to look into because we might do some breaking news. This is what we do here, man. We might go off the rails a little bit, talk about a little something. The Hellboy said he had some tidbits for us, so you might as well throw it in there. Yes, Trevor, we do got Discord, but we don't have it set up for anything right at the moment. So a lot of everything that we do is on.
I sent it to you, DM.
On Twitter. All right. All right. About to pull it in. All right. Let's watch this together, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you were able to hear it.
Maybe. You gotta, like, I'm only using earbuds. I think more expensive headsets might help hear it because it'll pick up different tones. You can hear it a little bit. I'm not going to say it's not there because I can hear it a little bit. But go to the 23 mark. Yep. I watch the dots. You can hear it in the background. It's there. Like I said, I want to find somebody audio like expert to pull out all the other sounds and just get that sound to see what it really is.
One more time. I think you might be onto something, little Hellboy. I'm not gonna lie to you, because if I bring this up, that's exactly the noise I heard. That's the exact noise that I heard.
So you can hear it better than me with your headphones. That's what I kind of figured. I'm just listening off earbuds.
That's the exact.
You can hear it.
That's the exact noise that I heard.
It's way back there. Did you notice the 3 dots of light?
Yeah.
They use the highlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to the Hellboy, man. I see you paying attention out here. See, we might have heard something that nobody else was paying attention to. I heard it. I heard it actually 3 times right there. I heard the same noise. That's why I also played that. Well, I also played the actual noise afterwards. But that's why I also played the noise afterwards, because I wanted to see if the pitch was the same. And it sounds the same to me, man. So Hellboy, yeah, you might be into something, man. You might be. Hey,
welcome to Speculation Town on Living Split Screen, hey, bros. All right, I love it.
Who knew?
Love it.
That's what's up, man. That's dope. That's dope as hell. I like that. That was 100%. That was 100% worth it to me. And again, I mean, like you were kind of saying, it's kind of convenient that there's 3 dots in those particular places. I mean, sure, you could have put the 3 dots anywhere, but they put the 3 dots, and they're not close by to each other either. But the fact that the 3 dots are there and then the noise is there, I don't know, man. It's really tense.
Hey, Chase in Speculation Town, man. Tinfoil hats are welcome. So we're here, we're drawing lines, and we're gonna say we're gonna go with this, right?
but who knows? I mean, at this point, it's one of those things where Splinter Cell could come whenever it's ready to come.
It's fun. Absolutely.
It's definitely dope.
I want it to happen. So I want it to happen.
It's dope as hell that you noticed that, Hellboy, though. Okay, I mean, it was the exact noise. I heard it. So, but with that being said, I guess we'll start wrapping things up here. We'll move into the Square Enix. This should move.
We'll do these. We'll do these quick.
The Square Enix thing, like I was telling y'all already, Guardians of the Galaxy definitely pulled my attention. It being a single player game, they pulled a lot of the elements of Guardians that I feel like they should have, as far as like the humor, the character development and everything. I actually feel like these characters that they created fit better than the characters that they even put in Marvel and the Avengers game. They fit the Guardians of the Galaxy really well. I wasn't mad at all. Like, I wasn't thinking like, oh, why aren't they based off the movie characters at all? No, I was thinking like, oh, well, they look more like the comic characters or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are based on the comic book, because they got the actual comic book writer writing for this game, right? So yeah. So to see that and to see it be a single player story driven game, I feel like it has a lot of potential to be great. Some of the combat looked kind of like it still needed some work. Again, it's supposed to come out this year though. Who knows? It might get pushed back. It might not. Again, with it coming out this year, I was surprised by that, but it was interesting, man. It was supposed to be. The other thing that they said also is that it was going to. You're going to have choices that affect the story.
So nobody's one story is going to be the same. So who knows? There's no telling. But other than that, the other thing that kind of pulled my attention, but looked really rough to me, between Babylon Fall and Final Fantasy Origin, they both looked like my kind of games, but they also looked really rough.
What did 3-Bit say? It looked like PS3.
He said it looked like
graphics?
they looked like PS3 graphics. He was saying with the bloom and everything that they're doing for
It's
Final-
screen tearing. He was really upset. That they even showed it.
he was like, yeah, it didn't look good at all. But for me, it looked interesting. I hope that they don't drop the ball on either one of these games. Again, I believe Babylon Fall is going to be a Sony and PC thing. I know Final Fantasy Origin, the game that was rumored to be PlayStation only, is coming out on all platforms. So that was a surprise. Again, the game looked rough. It looked like Devil May Cry mixed with Dark Souls, mixed with there's another game that I was thinking that I came up with earlier. But it looked like it was trying to had the art style of Devil May Cry with the combat of Dark Souls. And it just didn't look right for a Final Fantasy game. You know what I mean? Not what I was expecting, at least. Who knows? I know everybody's been talking about how many times they said chaos in that trailer. That was throwing people off. He said, Le Hellboy says, I give all the credit to Kelantis. I just know a lot of people didn't catch it. No, man, you made a good catch. Shout out to Kelantis too, if that's the one who caught it first. But just to jump back into this, yeah, Final Fantasy looked off to me, but other than that, those are the only three things that really pulled my attention at that Square Enix show. So
for sure. Otherwise, it was a bunch of mobile games. Again, I'm not gonna slander mobile. I'm not gonna slander mobile because I think mobile players are gamers as well, because there's parts of the world where that's where they play. So again, I understand why Square Enix is doing it. I just wish they wouldn't put as much resources towards that, but I understand why they do it. It's a moneymaker. And so they're going to continue to do that. We had Hitman Sniper. We had Nier Reincarnation. We had some more Final Fantasy mobile games announced as well. So that was that. They had the Life is Strange remastered collection there. I know there's a bunch of Life is Strange fans out there. Big popular game. Not my style game. I tried it. It's just not me. But I know a lot of people love it. A lot of people excited for the remastered collection. So shout out to you guys. And then they showed off Life is Strange True Colors, which is the next one. And they showed off a little bit more of that there. Again, for Life is Strange fans, happy for you. You guys got to see some stuff for sure. Obviously, Marvel's Avengers with Black Panther expansion. Again, there's still some Avengers fans out there. There's not too many of you guys left, but if you're out there playing it, you guys are still getting some content. Funny, we haven't seen the Spider-Man content that was supposed to be out for the PlayStation yet.
I think they pulled that.
I think they pulled it too. And then we got the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, which would be awesome, but it's only coming to Steam, iOS, and Android devices. Great, but why not bring it to all? Again, these are classics. A lot of people would pick them up if they were available on all platforms, but they're not doing that. So, and then they announced Legend of Mana remaster. Which Legend of Mana is one of my favorite all-time JRPGs. I'm just sad because every time it gets announced, I think this one is going to PlayStation, and we're not getting it over on Xbox. So again, when I get a PlayStation 5, I'll probably wind up picking this up because I'm looking forward to it. I just wish Square would stop. I mean, again, if PlayStation's paying them, again, it's big business. They got to do what they got to do. They got to take the bag. I totally get it. I just wish there was more opportunity for people on the Xbox side to experience these classic JRPGs. Legend of Mana is one of the greatest of all time. So, period. For old school JRPGs. So, again, glad to see it's finally getting done, but just would like to see it everywhere. But that's okay. It is what it is. Like I said, it's big business. So that's your Square show in a nutshell.
And then as we move forward, Warner Brothers showed Back for Blood. They showed some more gameplay of that, just displaying that. showing some more of the PvP action or whatnot, as far as like the monsters versus the people. So that was interesting. The PC Gaming Show, we don't really care
not
for.
worth it.
Um,
not worth it.
Unfortunately, I mean, again, there were some things that probably could be spoken of, and nothing that I took notes on or really paid attention to. So there's that. The Future Game Show, they had a lot of stuff that they showed there. That was pretty cool.
That was something people are sleeping on. If you guys didn't watch the Future Game Show, go back and watch it. I bet you probably will find a couple things in there that you didn't see anywhere else. That would interest you. They had some double ups on games like Jurassic Evolution, World Evolution 2, that was shown again. But there was a lot. There was a handful of games there that I was really interested in. I think Steel, you even had a few that you were interested in there as well.
I didn't take notes.
Yeah, some people slept on that one, and actually it turned out to be pretty good. There's a great action RPG in there called Gatewalkers. That was really cool to see. That's coming to consoles as well as PC. So if you like action RPG looters, that was a cool one. The Epic or Esports Boxing Club, they've got tons of licensed boxers. Steel, you noticed
they got
that.
Right? They had everybody in there.
And they even got Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, they had everybody in there. They're again bringing that Fight Night style of gameplay back. I think that's really dope. They're the first ones to do it in a long time. So seeing a true boxing game come back is going to be interesting. It still looked a little rough again. I guess I also haven't watched it back in 4K, so I guess we'll see. But the other one that we kind of spoke on too was Instinction. It kind of looked like kind of looked a little bit like Dino Crisis, huh?
They're saying that it's a spiritual successor to Dino Crisis. A lot of us old school fans out there, man. Capcom, that's one we've been wanting them to come back. Go check out Instinction. So not Extinction, not like we normally talk about, but Instinction. Go check out that trailer. Looks fantastic. Really well done. Kind of a Aliens Isolation vibe to it. And that's why people are saying this is a spiritual successor to Dino Crisis, because it's not going to be like Turok. It's not going to be like Second Extinction where you're just mowing through dinosaurs. This is going to be a fight for survival where dinosaurs are hunting you. So go check that out. Really dark, really gritty, really cool looking. The dinosaurs look awesome in this. So go check out Instinction. Great game to look at. That's coming out on console and PC as well. And then I think the other one for me was Sonic Colors Ultimate, which we know we're getting.
Which is
really good look.
Before, but
it has been out, but I never got the chance to play it. I never played it.
I haven't either.
And it looks, I mean, again, what they showed on that screen, we were all kind of talking through a bunch of it because they were showing off so many different games. Future Game Show had a ton of games. And there was a bunch of them that weren't interesting. We were talking. All of a sudden, everybody kind of stopped talking and everybody kind of said, hey, this Sonic actually looks pretty cool. So I can't wait to check this out. This is coming to Xbox as well. Sonic Colors Ultimate. So looks good. But yeah, if you guys are interested, go check out Future Game Show. It is a good look at a lot of different games, and there's some cool stuff in there for sure.
In fact, a lot of this information we pulled, especially for Future Game Show, check out Windows Central. They did an awesome breakdown on a lot of that stuff that was talked about there, showing a little bit of that Sonic Colors gameplay in the background that we were talking about. It looked like a solid Sonic game, something I definitely would probably jump into, at least give it a good playthrough or whatever the case might be. I love a good Sonic game, so. Other than that, I mean, that's pretty much it for as far as the Future Game Show went. Today we had Take-Two, which again was more of like them sitting down talking about stuff. Nothing really worth it.
Somebody else described it as an HR meeting.
Well, I mean,
that's pretty much what it was. Like the top, yeah. They didn't show anything.
You can get Sonic Colors is currently out on last gen consoles. What is that, PlayStation? Hold on, I can tell y'all right now. Let's look it up. Let's go to Google, right? We'll type in Sonic Colors. The only thing about this though is that the Sonic Colors Ultimate that they're releasing is going to be an ultimate version. Well, it's going to be ultimate version, but it's going to be like everything that they ever came out with. It came out in 2010. That released on the Wii, Nintendo DS, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. Wow, I could probably play that right now if I wanted to.
You could.
I don't care. I'm gonna wait till Ultimate comes out. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Sonic Colors, man. If that's something that y'all looking for, definitely keep an eye out for that. But again, like the Take-Two Interactive, like you said, it was described like an HR meeting. They didn't talk gaming really much, for real.
Oh,
Or I should say, announce any games or anything like that. Again, I don't get why people come to E3 and don't show games. I mean, that's what people come to E3 for, or looking at E3 for. We got a lot of that shit. Even, goddamn it, at least Gearbox gave me some games.
right, exactly. Even though we didn't really care.
Yeah, even though I didn't care.
Gave us too much Randy Pitchford. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And too much Borderlands movie.
Hey, he's making a movie. They're making a
movie. Nothing's gonna save that burning wreck.
Kevin Hart will, don't worry. Mythical Games, I had not seen, I heard anything about that. The indie showcase, if you're into indies, definitely check out Indie Gamer. I'm pretty sure he probably covered that.
I think he did cover that or do a video. Yes.
So definitely check out the Indie Gamer on YouTube. He covers indie games on a very heartfelt note. He is very passionate about indie games. How a lot of us feel about triple or whatever A game that you want to talk about. That's how he feels about indie games. And so he's definitely somebody that we use as reference if we ever want to bring indies up. Not to say that we don't like indies or whatever the case. It's one of those things to where we do have better representation for that style for those styles of games. And he's the guy to go to if you need a reference. So other than that, Freedom Games, I don't know what that was about. I didn't hear anything about that for real. Capcom. Did we hear anything about Capcom?
Yeah, I watched Capcom. Yeah, I sure did. I watched that. That was great. See. Capcom could have stayed home. They could have done a press release.
They said Resident Evil Village DLC is in the works.
Yes. But that wasn't even announced during the conference. It was like an after thing. Right. So okay, I'll give you the rundown of the Capcom show because I can do it from memory. Okay, so they started out with Resident Evil, talked about how great it's doing, Resident Evil Village, how great they're really happy with everything, all that good stuff. Then they talked about the Resident Evil multiplayer. I always forget the name of it, Steel. Yeah, but the Resident Evil multiplayer is coming in a few weeks. They talked about that. Then they talked about what did I say next? They talked about they went to Monster Hunter. They went to Monster Hunter, the 2 that just came out for Wii, and or the Wii. Oh wow, see, my mind's fried right now. They talked about the 2 that came out for the Switch. They talked about I think one of them is coming. So they talked about a lot about Monster Hunter on Switch. They talked about being able to transfer, carry over some of your progress from a demo that's coming out. They went in depth on the Monster Hunter stuff. So if you're playing Monster Hunter on Switch, go check it out. They did drop a lot of information. And then they went to Ace Attorney. The package that they've got, the complete package that they're putting out, and then they spent like 15 minutes showing gameplay from Ace Attorney. Anybody who's played Ace Attorney, great set of games. I've dabbled in them a little bit. They're fun, but if anybody has played them, you understand that there's no voiceovers whatsoever. It's all text, right? It's all text. That's it. As you're doing these cases, and they spent like literally 15-20 minutes showing gameplay from Ace Attorney, and boring. And then they ended the entire Capcom show talking about Street Fighter, which is obviously exclusive to PlayStation, but they talked about Street Fighter tournaments. And that was the whole end of their show, talking about all the worldwide tournaments that are going on, all the prizes that are being given out, all that kind of stuff. So they didn't show Dragon's Dogma 2. They didn't show any updates to any other games that anybody really wholeheartedly cares about right now, other than Monster Hunter, which is a huge franchise, obviously. But that was it. That was the end of the Capcom show. So again, nothing exciting, nothing groundbreaking, nothing E3 worthy by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah,
it's amazing. And I mean that in the best way possible. Their RE game was called RE. It's called depending on how you want to say it, RE Verse or Reverse.
Reverse. Thank you. Yeah, because it's the RE in the beginning. Yeah,
and I think that's what they're doing is going in reverse.
Yep, they are. Anybody who tried the beta, I heard it was just complete dog shit. So whatever.
It is what it is. With that being said, we'll move forward as far as and then Razer released they're releasing a laptop, man. First Blade laptop with AMD Ryzen processors.
Ooh,
that's going to be exciting. Limited talked about that a little bit. 108 Dragons TV, shout out to him. I see him in the chat. He talked about that a little bit. What is a $2,900 PC or $2,700 PC laptop? Again, if you can afford to get a gaming laptop, they are worth it, but it just depends on what you're looking for. I'm always going to tell you that it's always better to get a PC, but depending on how mobile you are, this could be a good option for you. They also released they're coming out with another monitor, 165 hertz monitor, now optional with VESA. I haven't done a lot of research on that.
Hey, shout out to, while we're talking about accessories too, and actual hardware, Turtle Beach today for all of you Microsoft Flight Sim aficionados that must have the best of the best. Turtle Beach announced their Flight Sim full stick, full setup, everything controller today, which will work on the Xbox, and PC. It looks beautiful. It's got tons of lights, tons of cool stuff to it. Only problem is price point's $350.
$350.
For anybody who's got expendable cash, man, and you want to do Flight Sim right on your Xbox, check out the Turtle Beach website because, man, that thing is awesome. If I had expendable cash like that, I certainly would do it. That would be fun because it looks great. So that was another thing that released today. Let's see, what else did we skip? Oh, speaking of Indie Gamer, real quick, you guys, for anybody that's still here, Indie Gamer covered the Devolver show, which I did with him, myself and Luke Steele, and Indie covered Devolver. If you guys have never seen a Devolver E3 show, you got to. You should go actually back and watch the old ones. Every single one is awesome. They are scripted. They are well acted out. It's not cringe, at least for me. It is hilarious. And this year's was over the top. It was incredible. Talk about pacing. We were talking about pacing in the Xbox show. This is one where they actually have a whole lot of scripted acting and skits going on, but they're so well done. You are laughing so hard and in such a good mood and watching what's going on in the background because they put tons of, like, they'll have an actor like talking, walking towards the camera while the camera's walking away from them, etc. They'll do a lot of that. And in the background, there's stuff going on, and it's more interesting to watch what's going on in the background than it is to actually listen to the actor or actress talking. It's amazing. Go watch the Devolver show. Of course, Devolver has great games. They publish incredible indie games. And this year they did Trek to Yuma, which is a 2D black and white, like a Limbo Inside kind of game, but set in a samurai world, with some incredible 3D effects also on the screen. But you play a samurai warrior, looks out of this world, was blown away by that one. Then they talked about Phantom Abyss. Phantom Abyss is kind of a, what do I want to say? Indiana Jones, frantic Indiana Jones temple, 3D temple running. Temple running kind of game with traps and everything else. And the idea is that every temple is procedural. Oh God, I can't speak anymore. Procedural, generated. And at the end, whoever gets through, you're battling the ghosts of other people who have made runs through. So not only are you in competition with that, trying to get through at the quickest time, but if you get to the end, they have some kind of treasure at the end. And the treasure for each one of these procedurally generated levels is exclusive to that level. And once somebody claims that treasure, it's forever. It's gone forever. And you are the only person that has that treasure. So you kind of get like this world thing. So that's really cool looking. Go check that one out. Wizard with a gun, top down action RPG. Exactly what it says. You're like this wizard caught in this kind of like Wild Wild West setting with guns. And it looks, you got magic powers, but you also have weapons. Multiplayer, action RPG, looter, looks incredible, cartoon style, phenomenal. go check out Wizard with a Gun. Death's Door, everybody knows about. That's
Yes.
coming out in
Death's Door was
July
cool.
28th. Yeah, Death's
That
Door
pulled
is
my
the
attention.
crow. Yeah. Where you're the Crow Reaper. You're like a Grim Reaper, but you're a crow. Again, amazing style to this. Looks incredible. Looks like it's going to play phenomenal. But Death's Door, they showed a lot of that. July 28th is when it comes out. Inscription, that was, I'm not even going to say what that was, but they showed Inscription. I don't remember that one. And then Demon Throttle, which was a classic, like 8-bit style, 16-bit shmup, shoot 'em up style game, just like you remember them. So go check out those. Otherwise, yeah, just go watch the Devolver show. It was really good this year. We were laughing. We were dying during the show. So.
Yeah. The Devolver show was excellent. I thought it was funny. It was on the borderline of being like corny, but also not. Again, I thought the show was solid. It's definitely within the top 3. It's Xbox, Ubisoft, and Devolver.
Yeah, and they showed another Samurai Warrior 3 trailer as well. And they said that one's coming out this year. We did not get an actual release date, but it is coming out this year. So we will see Samurai Warrior 3 this year. Samurai Warrior 2, one of my favorite games from last gen. Just so much fun. And now what they've done is they've taken Samurai Warrior 2. They've got away from some of the RPG aspects of it, which I'm kind of upset about the stats. I like that stuff, but they took out a lot of that stuff, but they increased the pace and increased your ability to traverse the levels. And actually what it looks like right now is a crazy form of Doom. A crazy form of Doom Eternal. That's exactly what it looks like and plays like. I can't wait for it. I'm going to check it out. So,
yeah. FX. And with that being said, I believe we pretty much covered everything. Tomorrow we do have, excuse me, I lost the thought. Tomorrow there is a Nintendo showcase. Pong, do you want to do anything for Nintendo tomorrow night? Should we talk about
depends
Nintendo?
what they do. It depends what they do. If it's just a plain old show, if there's nothing big, if Breath of the Wild 2's announced or some crazy reason Metroid's actually announced tomorrow, we can come back and talk about it for a short period. Or if they show off, obviously, if they show off the Switch Pro, we'll come back and talk about what we saw there. But I think otherwise, if it's a pretty standard Nintendo kind of treehouse or direct, I don't really think we need to come back and cover it unless there's something really exciting. I don't know what your thoughts are, but
nah, I was of the same mind as far as that goes. I mean, it's not too much of a reason to, unless we really need to, unless you really want to. Again, I know we're not platform centric, so we like to talk about a little bit about everything. Again, I'm along those same lines. If they do end up showing something, and if it's more than just we're releasing older games, I may just get on here and rant for 2 hours about Nintendo's practices, and so that we at least have somebody that's talking out against this shit, because I'm getting tired of it.
I know you are getting tired
because
of it. Maybe
the other thing I want to bring this up too, because Lemon was talking about this earlier, is that if Nintendo comes out with another console and they do not support their Nintendo Switch, they need to go in the trash. Why are you going into this next generation and you're making people continuously rebuy games? Like, oh, like come on, and you think people are gonna buy it? And it's what's gonna be crazy to me is if people actually do. Because I have a feeling, just like 108 did, I have a feeling like they're going to release this new console and then say, oh, well, all your last gen stuff doesn't work, because they don't tie it to your account. They tie it to your console.
It'd be awful if they did that. It would be absolutely awful if they did it. Agree wholeheartedly. Maybe we come back and rant about that.
But anyway,
show it off.
If that happens,
we got Bandai Namco tomorrow too. Can't forget
that's true.
That might have some cool stuff. Yeah, that might have some cool stuff.
We'll see. They could show some things. It could show something.
It could be a whole show of Scarlet Nexus and Tales of Arise, which I won't be upset about, but I don't know if it's worthy to come back and talk about it, but we'll see. So,
and then we got the official E3 award show, GameSpot Play for All showcase, Eureka Studio. So we got some things that could be interesting tomorrow. We haven't heard anything in the background per se of what could be happening. So I guess we'll see. We'll play
it by ear.
Magically surprised.
Yes. We'll play it by ear. So
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is your living split screen E3 breakdown, covering everything from E3 so far from June 12th to the 14th, which is today, or maybe tomorrow for some of you. But
True.
Look, man, everything that I've said from this entire E3, look, it's been exciting to actually be part of E3 per se, even though it's been digitally and not in person and everything. It's been excellent to be part of it this year. It's my first time covering it or even talking about it with different people and everything else. So I thought that was badass. Other than that, I appreciate everyone coming in, checking us out. We did this kind of, spare of the moment just because I know we told you guys that we were going to at least try to cover E3 the best to our knowledge. I feel like, again, we gave you another 2.5 hour show, breaking everything down. And man, Xbox was the winner so far. So we'll see how the rest of the month takes us. Sony, quote unquote, is supposed to have something at the end of the month. Hopefully they bring the heat again. We want competition. Everybody was asking for competition for so long. With this, Xbox has brought that in more to me personally. And now I want to see what Sony's going to do. And again, because still to this day, I have not been sold yet. So with that being said, Pong, another night podcasting with you. It's always an excellent time. Always a good time, man. Other than that, let the fine people know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for showing up. Again, just a special spur of the moment. Like we talked about doing these recaps, and again, with real life and everything, and Steel and I doing 8.5 hours on Sunday just wasn't possible. So we appreciate you all coming by and giving us your time. Always, we love seeing all the familiar faces out there, and it's so appreciated. I can't even tell you from the bottom of our hearts. So again, thank you all for coming out. E3, again, there's been a lot of letdowns, a lot of maybe not so great shows, but there's been a lot of really good stuff coming out of it. And if Xbox is any kind of measuring stick, again, we are in the golden age of gaming. We have so much content coming from so many different places, even if not everybody showed up to this one, even if not everybody's showing all their cards yet. Coming over the next 2 years, 22, 23 is going to be out of this world. And it is just a fantastic time to be a gamer. Absolutely every reason why Steel and I started this podcast, because this is the time to celebrate. So thank you all for coming out. Pong Soul everywhere. You know the drill. You can find me on Xbox. You can find me on Twitter. Follow us, subscribe, please, guys. Business-wise, it helps us. Keep hitting those like buttons. Share us out if you got the opportunity. Please do so. Please tell people about us. Otherwise, tomorrow you can find me on Xbox Factor Podcast with Mr. Boomstick, Zemi Games, and now featuring the VGHD 3-bit, yes, my other brother from another. He is on the Tuesday show permanently. So come by, check us out, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central, Xbox Factor Podcast. We got a lot to talk about tomorrow. It's going to be great. We are going to be in Speculation Town as well tomorrow, because that's where we love to sit. So come check us out there. Otherwise, Friday nights, Xbox Ultimate with AKA Mav, Fun Speculations channel. His beautiful wife, Caitlin, who was in our chat earlier and is probably still listening, and the rest of the Magnificent Seven, Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. That is on Friday night. Saturday morning, back here, Living Split Screen. We are going live. Once again, me and Steel Rain covering your morning. You know the drill there. Come see us. Come tell your friends, tell your family, tell whoever. I don't care. Yell it out your car window that this is the best place to be Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. My brain is absolutely fried, guys. I have done so much podcasting. It's crazy. And then Saturday nights, the Shop Podcast with PTK Blam, Fuzzy Belvedere, Centurion, and Stagorilla, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central time. I will be there this coming Saturday as always. So come check us out. Come find us. Love you all. Again, golden age of gaming. Play what you love what you play. Glad you're all enjoying E3. Hope you guys have every single gamer out there in some shape or fashion has found something out of this E3 that they absolutely are looking forward to. That's one of the best parts about this, is you get to look forward to something and get hyped and get excited about something. I know my list is long. I just hope you found something too. So love you all, and we will talk to you soon.
That's a fact. And for me, I still reign. I everywhere. The T is a 7, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, PC, wherever you can find a search bar, type that in. You should find me. Other than that, Friday nights, 8 p.m. Central GRG, on with a group of guys who are gamers, recognized game, and lady. I can't forget that. Other than that, check us, like Pong was saying, every Saturday morning, come get your action live, raw, and uncut as we get that energy boost to you to get your weekend pumping, where we keep it authentic, organic, and we just try to do it like nobody else does it. We're aiming for the top, man. But other than that, no. But with in all seriousness, make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Share it out, sub, and tell you like Paul was saying, tell your mama about it, tell your sisters about it, tell your brother about it, tell your long distant cousins about it. Tell that girlfriend that you met in high school or elementary school. She needs to listen to Living Split Screen because we're giving it to you live, raw, and uncut.
I love it. I love it. Hype man in full effect. I love you.
It's getting late. It's been a long day. But with that being said, much love to everybody who was able to come out tonight. It's much appreciated. Again, always enjoy seeing y'all here. That's why we do it. But anyway, y'all have a wonderful night and live in Split Screen. Out.
You're all.